Yes, roll number
Yes, sir.
53. Yes, ma'am. बायोडाटा रेडी कीजिए. Who is this participant?
Dr.
Okay, I am
Kundan.
sir.
Yes.
Roll number 32. Okay, sir. Happy morning to all the dignitaries, my refresher course colleagues, and the resource person, Dr. Santwana ji Mishra ma'am, who is going to delight us on the LMS and e-learning system in education in the first two technical sessions. So, Dr. Santwana ji Mishra ma'am is working as professor at Department of Educational Planning in a National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. She is very sound academician with 18 plus years of experience in teaching. She is working in a premier research institute, which is working for research in planning and management of education. This National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration is university located at New Delhi. So, taking the same leaves, she is doing a substantial research in various thrust areas such as educational psychology, qualitative techniques, and educational planning. These are the thrust areas of MAM. This pursuance of research has led to publication of 50 plus research papers in various reputed journals, which are national as well as international. She has also involved in various educational or research summits at abroad. For the instance, I will mention US, UK, Japan, and Sri Lanka. So she has international exposure also. Then she is tackling some responsibilities of uh, responsibility as a reviewer also. She is reviewer of many renowned national as well as international journals. Apart from that, she is engaged in administrative activities such as she is faculty in charge for the National Center for School Leadership. Also, she is working, extending her work towards the Samagra Shiksha, which is the government scheme dealing for the training of the outcome-based district school education. Apart from this, she has published few books also. So, on behalf of this UGC MMTTC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I welcome ma'am and request to delight us by your experience. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible. There is some issue with the volume here.
Yeah,
So
one thing I also like to mention.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're audible,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Ma'am
much,
has
Dr.
started.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so
ma'am.
much, Dr. Kundan. I was not able to hear you in the start, but anyways,
Let it
thank
be.
you so much for introducing me and saying such good words about me.
Ma'am, you have started your journey from this university only. That
Yeah.
academic journey you have
Yes,
started.
yes.
You have embodied it from this university. So I welcome you formally in your institute only.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
ma'am.
much. Thank you so much for inviting me to my own university where I worked from like 2009 to 2021. That's a long period of time. And मला मराठी येते, तर तसं काही
Yes,
problem
ma'am.
नाहीये. I still remember, though I've lost touch, but I still remember how to speak in Marathi a little bit. And if you start interacting with me in Marathi, I may be able to answer your questions in Marathi. But preferably, this will be a session which will be multilingual in English, Hindi. I hope to speak in Marathi as well. And Dr. Kundan, thank you so much. You spoke really great about me. I'm not that great. We'll just thank you, really thank you so much. And I could see a lot of the participants have their cameras on, so thank you again for that. We'll be talking about e-learning and LMS. But what I have seen in the schedule which Dr. Beena has shared with me, I saw a lot of people who I will give you a lot of practical insights into various LMS and e-learning techniques. And so what I am going to do is coming from the education background, I was in Department of Education there, and here I am into educational planning, and I'm doing a lot of activities related to that, policy planning and all that. What I'm trying to do is my session will be basically on orienting you, empowering you, making you understand that e-learning and LMS is not something which you have to do in addition to what you are doing right now. All of you are faculty member in higher education across different disciplines. So e-learning or LMS is not something that over and above what you're doing right now, you have to now do this also. Because now it is a basic criteria for getting better grades in NAC and IRF also everywhere. So what I will try to do is I'll try to make this LMS and e-learning more humane and more like how do we actually use these techniques, these new age resources, which have actually come in abundance post COVID. It was coming in very slowly. Like pre-COVID, it was coming in, and we knew that the age of technology will start very, very soon. But suddenly, post COVID, because during COVID, those 1.5 years, we were all connected online only. There was no face to face interactions that was happening. So eventually, it was just on us, especially the teachers, all the faculty members across all levels of education, like right from school education to higher education. We had to get into it. We had to brush our skills. We had to actually start having online assessments done, online grading done, online teaching done, online sharing of learning resources done, everything. So we did it in a hurry, and somewhere we feel that this what we are doing is over and above our actual workload. So through my session, what I will try to justify, integrate, and make these technology things more humane. Okay? So I'm not going to teach you any skills. I'm not going to open up any online platform and tell you how to create content there. Okay. So that won't be there, but I'll try to make it a little bit interactive, have your opinion on that, what I am trying to say, but it will be more education oriented. Okay. So let's see how it goes. This is what I have planned, but it will go. Another thing, Dr. Kundan, I wanted to ask, will it be a continuous session from 11 to 2, or there'll be a break in between?
You can take a break after first session, ma'am. We can
After
take a
first session
break
means
at
first session ends at 12:30.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, ma'am.
so can we take a break
So we
at
can have
25 till 12:35?
yeah,
So that
ma'am.
5 minutes from this session gone and 5 minutes from the other session gone. So I
Yeah,
request
5
you
to
to
10 minutes break
kindly
is okay,
let me
ma'am.
know at 12:20 that it is already 12:20. I won't be keeping a tab on the time. Okay, because when I
Okay, ma'am.
start, I won't be I'll just see my presentation. I won't be able to see even all of you because I'll be sharing my screen. So give me a minute to share my
Yeah,
screen.
ma'am.
I hope everyone is from Maharashtra, or are there people
No,
from
ma'am.
across
Some
the
students
nation?
are outstate.
No, madam. Kashmir to Kanyakumari participants are there.
Great, great. Here in Nipa also we deal with people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So great, great. Welcome. So the basic way, the basic mode of interaction will be in English. Okay. In case you have any question, any doubt, anything that we need to discuss or learn from each other. Okay, because this won't be a teaching session. Teaching higher education faculty is beyond my scope. You can't teach people. We can just discuss, share our ideas, and just empower or enlighten each other. Sometimes you really need to rebrush what we know. So that is what I think all of these refresher courses do. It's just a F5 button that we have on our computer. Okay, so let me just give me a second to share my screen. I'll share my screen, and then this is the screen that I'll share. And I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, ma'am. It is visible.
It is visible.
Visible it
Okay.
is.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we will go with the presentation now. We will be talking about effective learning in higher education classroom. Now, all of us are faculty members in higher education, and we know. And now that we are talking about OBE, we have integrated OBEs on our syllabus. We are all outcome-based faculty members. We try to deliver our content. We try to have it more and more in sync with what is required for the society, for the people who are taking our output, our students as input. So there has to be some effectiveness in learning. Learning outcomes are now measurable as well. So how are we going to have higher effective learning in higher education classroom? And LMS and e-learning are some of the tools that we integrate in our teaching learnings, in our classrooms, outside our classrooms, all our interactions with the students to make it more and more effective. That is what this presentation will be all about. That is what this discussion, this deliberation will be all about. Okay. So we will start with that. Why do we need this? Okay. Why are we talking about this? Why are we having a refresher course on e-governance, e-learning, LMS? Your refresher course is on that. That is, I think, is the topic. And because my camera is on this side, so every time I'm looking on this side because I can see your faces on this side. So when we look into the changing scenario of the education system, we see that post-COVID, as I mentioned just before, post-COVID, suddenly we have seen how easy it is to connect with a large group of people across different learning abilities, learning styles, by one single thing, and that is like online using technologies. Now, that technology may be something like the Zoom platform that we are using right now, or maybe like by using Google Meet, by our own WhatsApp calls, or Skype calls that we had before. Now we no longer use it, it is outdated. So there are so many ways. And also, suppose I want to share some notes with my students. So I can just make a PDF of it and send it all across to my students. You can send it to individual students' mail IDs, or you can have a group mail ID made and send it to the whole of the class. So somewhat the students' expectations and the way we are dealing with the curriculum now is showing changes. Also, the Swayam portal is now fully functional. It is said, it has got marks also in your NAC accreditation that you have to integrate Swayam courses in your syllabus, in your curriculum. Students can actually go and attend online courses. They can go and get credits there, and eventually those credits are also a part of their final grading system. So many things are coming up. There are a lot of government initiatives that are pushing all the higher education faculty members towards online learning resources, towards having a nice learning management system operational in your own institute. So many of these things are happening all across. So the scenario of the education system is changing very, very fast post-COVID. Pre-COVID, it was changing very slowly. The change was supposed to come slowly, so that everyone is used to it, everyone is trained for it. But then suddenly COVID came, and all of us got trained overnight. We were trained us. We just went in and we got ourselves trained. We tried to learn the nuances of the different portals that we'll be using. So now there is an evaluation of all the digital learning environment. Okay. So what are these digital learning environment? One of the digital learning environment all of us are connected to. Where this sort of interaction is happening. I'm sitting here in Delhi. There are people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. This is what I was told, and all of us are now sitting here, trying to understand what I'm trying to say and how are we going to interact, like have the integration of digital learning environments in our face-to-face classrooms. And we are all used to that face-to-face classroom. And I do not undermine the effectiveness of face-to-face classroom. I am always a supporter of that, what a face-to-face classroom can do in many of the topics, in many of the things that we teach, not only academics, the other aspects of students' development, because we talk about holistic development of the student. The digital learning somewhat stays back. But academically, if we want to transfer the knowledge to the student, digital learning can be used in very effective manner. We should not totally rely on digital learning. And that is why I said before only that we will learn to integrate it into our teaching learning sessions. How are we going to do that? So we are going to create a digital learning environment, which includes, for example, we always talk about blended learning. Even National Education Policy talks about blended learning environments. So this digital learning environments that I'm going to talk about across different platforms, which you will be learning in by specialized people who are actually using those platforms on how to develop, how to have assessment tools, how to have create contents, how to have videos. But I am trying to emphasize on the fact that you can integrate all of this in your daily teaching learning practices. Okay, so because the evolution is there and we have to do that, there is no other option that we have to have a blended learning environment. And also because we cannot just do away with the face to face learning is going to stay, but it should be blended. It should be like, and most of our content should also be available digitally to be more inclusive for everyone, especially with the entry and exit things that are coming up. And then our course content, everything that needs to be there for the students to take care of. Now, if you look into all the learning management systems, they started somewhere in late 1990s. We started with things like we have books in e-books started becoming a norm. Many of the libraries are now converted to e-libraries. We can access our library books through inflibnet, and most of them are either scanned or converted to digital things. So they began as very simple repositories of knowledge, simple e-libraries where the course materials were kept, and they were very sophisticated ecosystems. You had passwords. You had someone wants to ask something? Okay, sorry. So it is like they were very sophisticated ecosystems where you had your own mail IDs, you had your passwords, and then you logged in into your mail IDs to that particular website, and there was a plethora of knowledge, some digital content that was there, and you could use those, share it with your students, download them. So there were different diverse pedagogical approaches, and it was not available across all disciplines. Many of the science streams actually had those books. Some famous good books were available there digitally. So, and then slowly it evolved. Some universities then converted their libraries as along with a parallel digital library as well. So slowly, with the continuous improvement, they went on having a robust analytics. That is, how many students are actually using the digital library, how effective are the digital libraries, how effective are the e-books that are available, how effective are the e-content that is created. For example, in terms of a assessment tool, in terms of a video lecture, how they are and how are the students taking care of it. Self-learning materials were developed. If you look into Maharashtra, they started with this, what is this known as? The computer program, which was made compulsory to everyone there in Maharashtra. This is known as that certification, which is compulsory for all
MSCIT.
MSCIT, yes. So MSCIT was amongst the first self-learning based. They used to provide you with a CD. Even I did that. So when I was doing my graduation, B.Ed and M.Ed there. So even I was an MSCIT trainer as well. So I had qualified that exam as well. But for that also, they used to provide you with a CD. CD had a self-learning module, and depending on when you complete one module, complete the questions afterwards, then only the second module used to be open for us. You cannot directly go to the second module. So it was programmed that way. So that way, slowly, it was coming into picture. Now, today, if you look into all the learning management system platform, maybe as simple as the freely available Google Classrooms, they are very seamlessly, like you can upload your content, you can integrate a lot of teachers there, have a multiple logins as students, as teachers, as providers, as supporters. They also support mobile learning. You can open your mobile classrooms as well, Google Classrooms in your mobile as well. You don't have to every time have a laptop or a computer system to go get into log into your Google Classroom or to access your own the learning content. Even if you're a teacher, you can actually log in from your mobile system and upload your videos, or you can teach the students along with the videos playing as well. In between, you can integrate your presentation. So diverse learning styles you can have. You can give them notes. You can use have a have a whiteboard also there. Where in between you can write certain things if you want to highlight whatever course material you have given. You can pause your videos, give them some questions in between. You can have live sessions there. You can have recorded sessions there. You can solve doubt sessions there. You can have discussion forums. You can have peer learning, peer evaluation. It just goes on, so on and on. And it is like even if I enumerate you 10 new things that are added to Google Classroom today, tomorrow when you get into the Google Classroom mode, you will find there are more number of features that are added. It's just going on with improvement. There are so many different accessibility features so that it ensures equitable access for all the students. It caters to almost all the learning styles. Okay, so all these elements, LMS platforms that have now integrated, which started from late 1990s with simple PDFs, simple digital learning materials, have now developed into clear learning management system platforms. And therefore, the shift is now from teacher-centered content delivery to learner-centered interactive experiences. Now, what is teacher-centered content delivery is like, for example, right now also, I am using this Zoom platform to have a teacher-centered content delivery. I am not asking you, how do you want me to present this presentation? Okay, I am just doing it the way I want it to happen because this is the right way that I feel. So this sort of learning that I'm right now I'm using Zoom platform, but it is more of a teacher-centered content delivery where you have to listen to whatever is there. But learner-centered interactive experiences means that you have access to this material before, you have gone through it, and now we are discussing about the different aspects, and all of us are in some sort of a discussion forum. So that makes it more learner-centric. We can also have other innovative methods as well. I can devise a quiz here, and all of us can attempt that. I can see how many of you are giving right answers, wrong answers. We can have open forums where everyone is putting in their own views on what I'm trying to say, and then we are deliberating on what view is more from different perspectives, because all the views are right. It's coming from your own experience. There's nothing right or wrong. Okay, so if we are doing it that way, that marks a fundamental change. Because right now it is like I'm speaking and you are just listening to it, and you have to you have to go on just, okay, ma'am is giving this, or telling all of this. But if we actually do it in the form of an interactive mode, then it just makes the online education becomes more friendly, more user friendly. People are just not like just listening to whatever the sound that is coming out of their mobile phones or computers, whichever you have logged into to actually log into this system, this session. But it becomes totally different experiences. But for that, we have to now then use a LMS, not only Zoom, wherein all of us can connect together. Then we have to go to Google Classroom, where in between I can show you a whiteboard as well. I can scribble certain things. I can ask you, give you also a right to actually write things that you want on that instead of using a chat box. Because there again, everyone writing together, I won't be able to read a lot of your chats. So then we have to take this session to some learning management platform. Okay, so we have to shift. So if you are ready to have a shift from teacher-centered content delivery to learner-centered experiences, we have to learn how can we actually enrich our classroom and integrate a LMS in our face-to-face classrooms as well. Now, if you look into the development of LMS system, if you see 1997 to 2002, as I said, they were the first generation LMS platforms. They emerged. They focused primarily on content distribution and basic discussion forums. There were blogs written by teachers. Some of the libraries used to disseminate knowledge using digital content. And there were some discussion forums made here and there. And those discussion forums helped uh, uh, thinkers, like someone working on the similar fields, come together and share their ideas and views and perspectives on those discussion forums. There were chat boxes there and they were writing it down and so on and so forth. Later on, during 2003 to 2010, there was integration of multimedia content, because then Google also became where we had graphics, we had graphical user interfaces coming up. If you remember, that initial 2000, when we started using internet, around 97, 98, we started using internet a bit more widely. There were internet cafes all around. So when you used to download something, downloading a picture was so difficult. It used to be downloaded in parts. But then multimedia came and the whole of the picture could be downloaded together. So because there was integration of multimedia content, we had HTMLs coming up. So we then started designing assessment tools online. We could take up objective type questions were designed online, and people could select one option, and eventually we used to get the result very fast. So the grade books started becoming standard. Okay, 2011 to 2018, because mobiles were now more prominent. Before that, the mobiles were there, but most of the time they were used to give missed calls. But later on, the charges started coming down. The internet also started being more cheaper. So most of the people, instead of logging in from their PCs, from their laptops, they were more interested, the users were more interested in using it from their mobiles. So if you remember, initially when we used to Google on our mobiles, the website used to load in a very different manner, and we were not use like it was not very easy to type in what we wanted or search what is there on the website. We had to go to our laptops or our PCs. But then mobile responsive design started being developed. The social learning features also started being integrated, where different type of learning styles were getting integrated in one curriculum. Like there is a digital content as well, there is a multimedia content as well, there is an interactive content as well, and whichever learning style suits the student may actually select that and go ahead. Learning analytics gained prominence. Like what is learning analytics? Learning analytics means how the students are using the educational content that is being given to them. So what is that educational content? In the form of PDFs, in the form of PPTs, in the form of videos, in the form of assessment tools. So how are the students using them? If the students are mainly using the PDFs, so that means there is some problem with the PPTs that we have given, or some problem with the videos that we have given. So we used to see how much the user is interacting there, how much of the time is being spent there. And the analysis of that gave us the insight into what are the things that are more used by the students for that particular curriculum or for that particular topic. So because we were doing learning analytics, we started developing it more in terms of being it more learner friendly. Okay, so mobile responsive design, social learning features, and learning analytics started as early as 2011 to 2000. By 2018, learning analytics became a permanent feature of any LMS. And now if we see, we also have AI. So we have AI driven personalization. The content is sometimes, for different students, different type of contents can come. You have the design that way. If the student answer these 4 questions correctly, or if there is problem with one option, the trajectory becomes different. The self-paced trajectory becomes different from different students. There are immersive technologies. You have, like, the students are learning using, if it is AI thing, so they can also be getting into, suppose we want to teach our students volcano, so you can actually let them go ahead and have this totally immersed in the learning experiences. They are actually understanding how a volcano takes place. Okay, that may be through a 4D experience. There can also be interoperability standards across that shape the current landscape. Means, suppose something is happening far away in some lab in Harvard University, and we want our physics students to actually have want to know it. So they can be a part there. We can have a conference there. We can connect to them, and our students may be a part there. So a lot of things are happening, and right now we are in a nascent phase here when you talk about AI, because we are still not so much into it. We are still trying to figure it out. But if you look into the school landscape, we already have Paul labs coming up, where it is the pupil are assisted as per their own learning ability. So you have self-paced learning materials that are being developed, and I think it will be rolled out from this coming academic year across some schools as on a sample basis, and then slowly it will be rolled out for all the schools across India. So those that thing is already there. So you will have the AI integrated into the learning system. It is like still a in some sort of nascent play phase, but it is going to be hopefully coming out in the coming academic year. If you look into the students, how the students are nowadays learning in higher education. So if you look into that phase, There is a rapid increase in internet access in an online technology over the last 2 decades. The students are using a lot of internet. They are using a lot of things that are available for their own, for their recreation. Initially, they were using it for recreation, but now they are also using all of these tools, these internet access for their education purposes as well. Their exposure has enhanced, and they are explicitly using this technology for knowledge and understanding. They come to our class, they try to
ಕೈ
listen to our,
ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕತ್ತೀನಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನೆಯವ್ರ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ.
the students are now explicitly using this technology. They come to our class, they try to they sit it through our class, take notes, but at the same time they also go and search for YouTube videos on that same lecture, same session, and they try to learn the things from that angle. Just a moment. Okay, so they are using that technology for knowledge and understanding. They are using educational resources that are available online. They're developing metacognitive skills. Like now the students is not confused that they have to search, they have to analyze, they have to evaluate the available information. We have to give them, as teachers, when they come to us, we also not give them knowledge and information and comprehension of what the subject that they're studying. We also have to emphasize on developing their metacognitive skills. We need to give them the skills on how to search, analyze, and evaluate the information that is available there, how to filter out what is wrong and what is right, because everything that is given on the website may or may not be correct. You just don't know who has written it. So we have to now, as higher education teachers, we have to also develop metacognitive skills in our students. We need to give them this power of that. How should we search? What are the keywords? How do you take out the keywords from the course material that is there? How do you search for more digital content in terms to prepare for your examinations, to understand a particular topic? So that is something very important. And now the students, because all the time they are so engrossed into digital content, so they are not interested, or many of the times even their capability, because research says that the youngsters now have shorter attention span. We are still stuck with that 1 hour, 1.5 hour, like 90 minutes lectures for graduate and postgraduate students. But now their concentration span has gone low, and they are not capable of learning in environments that do not reflect their real world experiences. You tell them these are the rules, these are the laws, this is how it goes. You give them equations. They are like, so like, how is it affecting my real world experiences? So you have to give them, and when they go to the YouTube channels, they go to the digital content, they may be giving them a lot of immersive experiences. So we in our classrooms also need to integrate that there. We'll come to that, how should we integrate and what are the different tools available. But we have to first understand that why should we integrate, because the learner, the students that are sitting in our class are now have more affinity towards this digital content. Okay, and that is why we are talking about the connectivism learning theory. So if we use that, where we are actually, all of us are being connected, they are now interacting with people all across the world. They are getting the content, the exposure of the knowledge is infinite. So we have to now understand that. This was pre-1990. All of us have been through, I think most of us, if I may say, that we were in the classrooms like this, where the teacher used to come. We were sitting on chairs in a very disciplined manner. Whatever the teacher was giving us, this is very ancient and sort of a pun, but it was a teacher-centered approach where I had studied, where the teacher dominates the class, focuses on the teacher's performance and the presentation of the material that I have created. Okay, and that presentation of the material may or may not be of a lot of interest to the students. Different, what do you say? To the students' potential. Okay, like we have sensory skills, and we absorb all the experience through our different sensory skills. But The teacher used to come to the class, give us notes, maybe write on the blackboard or just speak verbally. 1.5 hour, the lecture session used to go, and then the teacher leaves the class. We used to take those notes or read through the book, and the session is over. But now, what we are trying to do, even if we are using presentations, we are trying to have presentations which change every slide so that the attention of the students are there on with the class. Here in the online also, I try to have different colors, have different ways in which the animations are happening so that at least your attention to the presentation is still there. 11 to 2, and you are just listening to your computer or your mobile phone becomes too tedious for us. So it also is tedious for the students. But there, when you talk about pre-1990, the focus was on the teacher's performance and the presentation of material. And we are just essentially transferring this information to the class. But now the students have, just by that small mobile phone that is in their hand, even if you ask them to put it on silent mode, still all these apps are active. All of them. Many of us are not even knowing the names of many of these apps. But all of these apps are active. Their notifications are on in their phones. There might be no sound or no vibration coming up. Still, the screen becomes active every moment because of some notification here and there. You are speaking in the class. They may be Google searching all those keywords that we are speaking in the class. And that is why we have to now be with them. We have to have an integration of these e-learning resources and LMS in our classroom. That is very, very important. Okay. So how do we define these challenges? I have given you a lot of challenges there, but how do we define it? How do we understand these challenges? So first is that we have to promote active learning tasks because it gives students a feeling of competence and autonomy. They feel they have a control over the classrooms as well. They're getting it. You give them a lot of tasks. They're active learning tasks. Let us solve this puzzle. Let us solve this problem. Let us all come together and discuss this. Let's have a debate on this. Something where the active learning is promoted. The students are not just passive listeners. Here in this class also, all of you are passive learners. Okay, if you want, we can just break in here and just ask you what are the active learning tasks as per your things. Can we do that, all of you? I can just stop my sharing here and we can have a discussion session on what are the active learning tasks that you think we may use in our classrooms, not using the LMS or e-learning.
Yeah, peer discussion, group discussion.
Peer group discussions, yes. What else?
Brainstorming sessions.
I don't get it.
Brainstorming sessions.
Brainstorming sessions.
Brainstorming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brainstorming. Yes. Quizzes. True. Very true. Quizzes we can have.
Some seminars.
And I think all of us are so very like we are teaching higher education students since long, at least more than 5 years, I suppose. And we might have seen that, when you go to the class and you just go there, teach with the help of a PPT, which has just the content, text, it becomes a bit boring. And nowadays, if you see the changes, like the changes that I have noticed before, when I used to show the PPT, the students used to take notes. You know what the students do now? Any idea? Have you noticed?
Just they click the photo of the board or something.
Yes. Or else they are even lazier ones. They say, ma'am, will you share the PPT with us? Please copy it in the computer here in the classroom. And I always tell them, beta, I will do that, but that is just a pseudo satisfaction. Why I call it pseudo satisfaction? Because, the moment I tell them, I'm going to give you the PPT, what they do is they have this thing in their mind, I'm going to get this content. So though they stop listening actively. And it becomes like, if you remember our graduation and post-graduation days, so like when I talk about my graduation, post-graduation days during MSc, when I was doing it at MS University, Baroda, or during my tenure, like when I was studying there in Aurangabad, Sambhaji Nagar now. So what was like that time, if someone comes into the class with a sheet of paper or something, so what is this? This is this theory from unit 2 of that paper. I also want a copy of it and give them 10 rupees. They'll give you a copy and then you have that pseudo satisfaction. I have the notes. So it is like in their mind just ticked. Yes, I have the notes and I'm not going to read it. Now, when like after 5-10 years, when I was doing the Diwali Safai, I was a faculty member at department. I was doing the Diwali Safai, and I saw so many notes untouched, so many Xeroxes untouched. Same happens to all the digital content. Now, after this session is over, you're going to ask me, ma'am, can we have this presentation? I'll say, okay, I'll give you the presentation. It will just be one presentation stored in a pen drive or somewhere on your mail, somewhere. Have you like do we how many times do we actually open those presentations? Rarely. But it gives us a satisfaction. We saw a presentation and we have it. But it is not inculcated in our mind. So it's always a pseudo satisfaction, and this generation thrives on pseudo satisfaction. So I always say, whenever I'm teaching in the class, you make notes. I'll give you some notes towards the end. If because I'm teaching them research methodology, a lot of statistics, so they need a lot of content also, because books generally the books in statistics have very tough language for because students across all social science and science domains come to NEPA for their MA in education and development. So we have science students as well as social sciences coming us for that MA. So that is why I give them notes on those statistics, but not my presentation. I don't want them to live in that pseudo satisfaction. They just remember they have it, but they don't know what there's there inside. Okay. So active learning, developing their active learning skills is very, very important. Let me get back to the screen again. I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is like
Yes, ma'am.
active learning skills are very, very important, and we have to make sure that the students are actively involved in the class. Now, assessment and feedback that promotes student learning. What we do is, all our assessments are most of the time very much pointed or directed towards the grades, the marks that we have to input in their final grade sheet. All our internal assignments, everything is basically for what? So that we can prepare a final mark sheet, submit it to the exam department, so that the student get their degree and the final mark sheet in place in time. But what was the basic purpose of assessment? Basic purpose of assessment is to pinpoint where has the student not attained the desired level of understanding, and we have to now push them towards that desired level. So they should know where did they go wrong. So suppose we give them a tutorial to write, we get all the set of 20, 25, 50 tutorials on our table. We check them in 2 to 3 days, give them grades as A, B, C, D, or out of 20, we give them marks 15, 16, 28, 9, whatever. We give them a diverse set of marks. And then, but we don't tell them why is a 16 marks student different from a student who have got 10 marks. Do we do that? We don't have time for that. But then assessment should actually be there with feedback. So when we look into LMS, we'll be looking into what are the different facilities that LMS or e-learning gives us. We'll see that they give us this platform where there is assessment and feedback also there. So it promotes students learning. Nowadays, what is there? I always have a I have coined a term for this. I used to use that when I was in Marathwada University as well. That just before the exam, you just gobble everything. You don't digest it. You just keep it somewhere here in your throat and somewhere in your mouth, and then you go and vomit it on the paper. You don't digest it, and then the moment semester is over, it is over because you just took it inside, like you just wrote learning, put it on the paper, and it is gone. It never became a part of your persona, the learning. But that should not be the objective of of learning. And also, somewhere in higher education, what we have started doing is we think that higher education means teaching those the complex things with even complex languages. Like we use those tough words, because most of the content that we are teaching in sciences or even in social sciences, we do not have Indian counterparts of them. We are referring to the original books that were written in Greek, Latin, or English. Okay, because most of the people were there, and we have borrowed our terms from there. So we tend to use those terms in our class as well, and it basically complicates the thing. Students feel it is so difficult. What I feel is that when we are actually dealing with higher education students, we should simplify, use simple words, because we are masters in that subject. We have done our PhDs in that subject. we should simplify it and give it to them in the class. The learning management system, the e-learning resources are actually doing that. The curriculum conceptualization should be very clear. The curriculum should be conceptualized in that way so that the overall program team should come together, and there should be some continuity in different papers that we are teaching. There should not be different segregated individual aspects of your course. They should all have some continuity, some mixing together. So all the program team should come and conceptualize. We have to give individual students the attention that they deserve for inclusive learning. We go to the class, give them the everything that they want in terms of completing that particular paper, and we come out. But every student has a different learning style. Now you will say we just get 90 minutes ka one lecture, and how much are we going to do that? That is, I'm giving you reasons. Why do we how can when we use e-learning resources in our classroom only, so we can actually do all of these without any extra effort. So that is what I'm saying. Do not use LMS and e-learning over and above what you're doing in the class. Integrate these resources in your classroom, and you can do all of these. You can have active learning tasks given. You can give individual attention to the students. Nowadays, we are also incorporating climate change. Like Ministry of Environment has actually had a MOE sort of thing with Ministry of Education. So across Department of Higher Education as well as Department of School Education and Literacy, everyone is bringing in environmental concerns into the higher education as well as school education. So there are a lot of activities that are now incorporated. So you have to now, there is an add-on to what you have to teach in the class. You have to also take in sustainability or climate change aspects also in your higher education classrooms. You have to have meaningful understanding of diversity in teaching and learning terms. Why are the students there in your class? What are their expectations? And they will have diverse expectations. They're coming from diverse backgrounds. They're coming from diverse cultural background, diverse language backgrounds. So we have to have understanding of that and give them learning experiences in congruence with all of this. Also, the well-being and mental health of the student and staff, like for our mental health also, it is important. We cannot go ahead that way. So again, as we know, as we have just defined how do we define the challenges of the students today, now we are coming to what are the benefits of e-learning, how can we use them. So when we have e-learning environment, our environment becomes flexible, unprecedented flexibility. We can give them e-notes, we can give them e-lectures to listen to after our session is over. We can give them tutorials, which are e-tutorials, so they can answer them and we know whether they have understood things or not. We can have peer learning, then they can write a paragraph on what they learned in the class today, and that can be shared amongst themselves. They are assessing each other's thing anonymously, because you have given them serial numbers. They don't know whom they are checking for, and you understand what happened in the class, how active were they. So e-learning offers unprecedented flexibility. So the students can now engage with course materials at their convenience. And you are not doing it over and above what you're doing in the class. You are just integrating in it those 90 minutes only. What else? You have enhanced engagement through multimedia. So the multimedia platforms, they are utilizing different multimedia formats, and they are catering to different learning preferences. Some people love to listen, so you can have audio material. Some people love to have a video of what's being taught. So you are teaching them, showing them PPT. There's a full YouTube video available, or any other form of video available. So there is a better retention, because all of us know that the more we are engaged through the different senses that we have, the more retention happens. So you have enhanced engagement, enhanced retention through the use of multimedia. Then comes, you have scalable education solutions. Once you have created e-learning materials, you can now easily scale courses. The same course you can offer in online mode as well. There is a face-to-face mode available. There is also an online mode available, so that you can accommodate larger number of students. Your quality is not compromised. So it becomes scalable also, because many of the times for the institutions to have better NAC accreditations or better NIRF, what you do is you actually you are supposed to have some certificate courses. So some of the courses where the learning materials you have developed, you can develop those courses as certificate courses, which can be taken up by the people who are already in service, or people who want to just escalate their knowledge on those topics. So, and there won't be any compromise on the quality. The pedagogical implications are too much. uh, we can have FDPs, workload, and all. There's so many things that can be done. For example, you can shift to student-centered learning. We are using you are using e-learning resources, so active learning is very much you are actually encouraging active learning, and the student can have self-directed study. I'm a student and I'm involved in this, so I know okay, this much is okay for me today. I have understood this much, and there is a mind fatigue coming up, so I can take up the rest of the portion after a gap of 1 hour, after a gap of 2 hours, or tomorrow. So I have my own self-paced, self-directed study. Also, after the end of every topic, there can be some questions wherein we understand the students have understood this much. So we can, the student, if there are some questions that the student is still not answering, we can direct them towards understanding them again in a different perspective, so that they can again. So this is like the direction is made for a different path is chalked out in terms of learning for each student. Assessment and feedback. Assessment and feedback, when we talk about diverse assessment methods with personalized feedback. Some of the students may attempt quiz, some of the students may write you long answers, some of the students may go for peer assessment. Different. When you're using e-learning platforms, when you're using LMSs, you can actually have diverse assessment methods. You can design them. You can have rubrics designed where different components of your knowledge can be tested in different ways, and you have to make it at just by like once, and then you can use and reuse every now and then, and there can be a team of people coming together and they can do it. Inclusive education strategies may be promoted. You can prepare tailored content for various learning needs, for different learning needs. So different type of multimedia content may be created that way. So pedagogical implications are huge. But once we know all of this, we are all talking about teaching and going in the class and giving them this, giving them that, and we have to give them active learning environment. We have to have good assessment. We have to make sure that everyone is involved, and so on and so forth. Lot of things we are doing. But in all of this, I'm sorry. In all of this, what is एक minute, what is this happening? So in all of this, what exactly is what do you mean by learning? होता क्या है? What do you mean by learning? Can someone tell me what do you mean by learning?
Application of knowledge.
Application of knowledge. Okay, good. What else is learning? This is coming. Asar, are you from education background?
Systematic study of method.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What else? How do you say that without assessment? How do you say that the student has learned?
I think it's a habit of mind that we create. Uh, Learning essentially, uh, making them into intellectuals.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Change
What else?
That
What?
learning should be reflected in their behavior, or
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
that skill should be reflected.
Very true. Very
Experience they
true.
got.
Very true, because the basic layman way of understanding what is learning is when the learning is reflected in the behavior. It's always learning should also always result in some behavioral change. Now, behavior doesn't mean only the extrinsic behavior. It is also how we think, how we analyze, how we perceive, how we react, how we respond, all of that. So many of this does not have any outcome that can be assessed, measured, or looked or observed. Many of it is insight. That is why we say that, see, some people have learned so much, have so many degrees, but still we don't find them that they are learning. because there is no change in their behavior. They're still reacting the same way they used to react when they have not even completed the 10th. They still show the nuances of those behavior of that time. So we have to understand what is learning. So again, let me come back to my screen again. So what do you understand by learning? So when we look
They
into
can
learning,
learn their day-to-day life problems also.
day-to-day life, or I'm not understanding. What are you trying to say?
The problems they are facing in day-to-day life, after learning, they can solve it by well.
Yes, they not solve it. We cannot say that all learning result in giving you a solution of the problem, but the way you are, the perception of those problems, the way you are understanding those problems, the ways in which you were solving it before, there might be a change in the way you are doing it now. So as I said, some behavioral changes. Okay, in the thinking process, in the analysis process, in the responding process, in the reaction process, everything. Okay. So how does learning occur? Learning occur through experiences, different sort of experiences. Even in the class, when the teacher is lecturing, there is an interaction happening. The students are getting different experiences, and through those experiences, through the perception of those experiences, the learning is happening. Now, what are the experiences that facilitate or hinder the process? If the experiences, I hope everyone is able to see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
Okay. So, what kind of experiences facilitate or hinder the process? It is like if the students is involved in the process, in the experiencing the process of giving, of participating in the experiences, it's a participatory process, then it will facilitate the process. If the student is aloof, away from that, this is not happening for me. Okay, just say for example, in our lecture session, if you want to involve students, sometimes we ask questions. For example, here I'm stopping my sharing and I'm asking questions, but there are few of you who are answering. So that you are getting some sort of experience. I'm learning from you, but I'm not learning from all of you. All of you are not participating in this process. So there somewhere that learning is not as is continuum as it is for people who are responding here. And I am also not able to connect to those people who are not responding. Okay, so what helps to ensure that the learning becomes permanent? Because that is our job. We are the higher education faculty. We want that whatever is being taught in the class, whatever knowledge we are imparting, whatever experiences we are communicating should become a part of their persona, should become permanent. So how should we do that? Now, again, the question comes, is there any science behind it, or it is just an art teaching? Because in higher education, if I'm coming from the field of education, so basically my field was physics. I was an MSc in physics, and then I got into education. So when I look into it, higher education faculty never have any those teaching learning sessions where they are taught where to stand, how to use the blackboard, how to use the learning resources, how to ask questions, how to ask sub questions, how to deal in the class, how to explain in the class, what is the tone that has to be set in the class, how do you give them reinforcements. It is not taught to the higher education teachers. Okay, so we just say that yes, you have completed your higher education, you have completed all your mandatory requirement as prescribed by UGC, you have completely qualified set or net in your subject, so go ahead, qualify the interview for the university or the institute and go ahead and teach. Then what happens? You go for the orientation course, there also there are classes on how to teach in the class, how to deal with the students, and most of the time the student and the teacher, both of them are in the same age bracket as well, because after doing B.Ed, you go to the school, so there is a big age difference between you and the students there. But here what happens, you are almost in the same age group, and you go there and you start teaching. And then you say teaching is art, but then teaching is also science. There are a lot of techniques, tools that we can use. So then that is why I think this MMTTP has started coming up, where Madan Mohan Malviya teacher training programs are happening all across the country, where actually it should be concentrating on letting the higher education faculty learn the pedagogy of teaching adults. Because this pedagogy of teaching children cannot be applied to the pedagogy of teaching adults. I'll share my own experience. Right now, yes, sir?
Andragogy.
Andragogy is also, that is a different thing, because andragogy applies to adult learners. the graduate and postgraduate students that we have a part of child in them as well as a part of adult in them. They have still not gone to the real world. Like people who have just come to us after 12th standard or after 3 years of graduation without any job experience or break in between, they have still not had the experiences of real life outside. They're still in that sheltered environment where their parents are paying for them. They live in a hostel, somewhat a guarded environment. So andragogy also has, when you talk about lifelong learning, there andragogy plays a part. But here you have to have some different type of teaching. For example, what I'm trying to share is right now I'm involved in this KGBV training project. The wardens are all across Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya are supposed to be trained. So when we thought that we'll have a 5-day training program, we started with the content and themes and all that. But eventually we realized, the team, all of us realized that we cannot just bombard them with a lot of content. We need to have it is in a different way because all of them are experienced, as we said, endocrinology. So that happens there. So what we did was we defined every day we have 4 sessions. All 4 sessions are activity based. We as trainers are not speaking for more than 5 minutes for all the sessions. They are learning within themselves. There are a lot of activities that are happening. We are giving them chart papers. We are asking them to prepare skits, songs, whatever. A lot of interactive activities. They are learning from each other. If there is something that has to be added, we just add it at the end. But they complete that activity, present it amongst themselves. They only correct each other because they have a lot of experience from the field coming up. So we have to learn these art. We have to learn the science behind it. All of us. So for this graduate and postgraduate students who are sitting in front of us in the classrooms and not in such a guarded environment as it was in the schools that they are coming from, we have to have a different approach here. Okay, and that is what I'm trying to every time emphasize, that we have to have a different approach here. So effective teaching basically means that you should have professional knowledge and skills, at the same time commitment and motivation to understand the child that is sitting in front of you, the adult child. Because I am saying that these students are adult child. I'm using the word child as well because they are still in that safeguarded environment, controlled environment. They have still not have a feel of the real life, what happens once they complete their graduation or post graduation and go out in the real world and deal with the real problems. Right now what they are dealing with, except for some people, like there are some of the students who are earning at the same time, but majority of our graduate and postgraduate students are still coming directly from school and are completing their graduation or post graduation with us and are still not aware so much of the real problems outside. So when you look into the effective teachers, if you look into professional knowledge and skills, obviously all of us have subject matter competence, no doubt about it. We know there are certain instructional strategies that worked for us. We have been through this education system. We have learned from the good teachers. We have learned from the bad teachers that we had, that what not to do in the class. We have high goals for ourselves, for our students. We plan for our instructions. We know how to deliver these content. We have developed our plan as well. This is how I'm going to go ahead with my subject matter. I create appropriate instructional material before going to the class. All of this I'm doing. I'm managing my classroom also for optimum learning. I'm trying to use strategies to promote my students' motivation to learn. I'm giving them examples. I'm trying to connect them to the real life examples. I'm also communicating well with the students and the parents now as well, because now NAC mandates that you should interact with the parents as well. And I am going for a lot of individual variations that I'm doing, giving them content in different forms. And now because of this, a lot of migration, we have culturally diverse students in our classrooms. We also have good assessment skills. I think all of this we try to do, and then we try to integrate technology into the curriculums. All of this are effective teachers. So out of this, I think we do around 70 to 80% of it. We are aware of so many things. We try to ingrain all of this into our classrooms. But at the same time, integrating technology into the curriculum, when we talk about, I think most of us stop at PPTs or showing them some videos. But integrating it in a way so that it doesn't feel as if an add-on, but it is just a part of what we are doing in the class. Let us have it that way. So you obviously, when you talk about commitment and motivation, you care about the student, you have a good attitude towards teaching or towards your students, and you have time and efforts, you invest in time and efforts. So totally you bring in positive attitude, enthusiasm to your classroom. And this is a basic, like, or I think all of us are there. We have our commitment and motivation. But when you look into the characteristic of teacher, most of us, because it is changing now. When I joined the teaching profession, when I started teaching M.Ed class there in Sambhajinagar, so when there was a laughter coming out of my class, I used to get that comments later on that why were students laughing in your class? Did you leave your class and go out? I said, no, they were laughing in the class on the joke that I had made. How can you let the students laugh in your class? But I don't think that like making the students sit there attentively throughout the 90 minutes somehow motivates them to learn all the time, because you have to incite all their senses. You have to touch all their senses there. They have to be at ease to learn there. And I don't think if you laugh with your students, they lose some respect of you. This is like my own personal thing. I don't know. Many of you may agree to it or may not. You have to make your class interesting. You need to have the knowledge of your subject, but at the same time, you need to explain the things clearly as well. Many of the times, some of the students, they come to me, I ask them some question and say, yeah, I know, but I don't know. But I am not getting words to explain it. So coming from like, because my students, I'm teaching them to teach. So I tell them, if you don't know how to put in words what is there in your mind, how will you be a teacher? Because you know a lot of things, but you should also have the vocabulary to put that knowledge into sentences to deliver it in the class. Otherwise, how will you explain things clearly? Like here, if I'm here in front of you explaining the characteristics of good teacher, and I say, see, it is like you have to be a good teacher. You should understand that. I don't know how to explain it, but understand. No, it is so obvious. You have to be a good teacher. This is not how it works. You have to put in the words that yes, what are the things that will make you a good teacher? You have to spend time to help your students. You should be fair to your students. You have to treat your students like adults. You have to relate to the students. Yes, I was also a student at some point of time. I had these problems. I also was stuck at these things, and so on and so forth. You are considerate to your students' feeling. You also know that they also face fatigue. They may have a tough class just before your class, so give them some time to just come down, be calm with their own selves, and never show favoritism. We are all humans. Yes, we may gel well with some students and may not gel well with some students, but it is like you should not make your favoritism so very obvious. And that teaches boring class. It is like I still remember. I won't name the teacher. I won't name the course as well. But in one of the courses, because when I was during my initial period, I think in one of the refresher or orientation courses, a professor came to our class for 90 minutes, and he was supposed to tell us about the APIs that were being introduced at that time from UGC. So UGC had brought out a mandate of around 35 pages explaining what are APIs. So that became a part of that course that we were attending as faculty members. So he came in the class. What he did was he directly copied those paragraphs from the UGC 35 pages booklet, and he pasted it on the slides on the PPT. So there were around 27 or 28 odd slides there, and there was no even font change. Very small font written, and he went on reading that, and all of us were sitting in the class like this. So the one of my like friend was sitting next to me, and she was like, "How? Why are you so attentive? Like I am feeling like sleeping." I said, "No, I am like learning from you." And that girl, she asked me, "Why? What are you learning from him?" I said, "I'm learning how not to teach in the class, because all those things that are coming in my mind for this person, great person, if I do the same thing to my class, I have that sort of a PPT made, and I just don't change the tone of my voice. I don't animate things. The same is going to happen. They are going to think about me the same, and they have all same keywords in their mind the way we are having for him. So you cannot have a boring class. You have to explain things clearly. You cannot have a poor attitude. You don't have control over the class. You're showing favoritism. You are expecting too much from the students. I've seen teachers who come to the class first day of the class, look into the curriculum, read out the whole of the syllabus. These are the 4 units that you have to do. These are the sub-units. And then they look at the class. They say there are, okay, 25 students in the class. Good. So all 25 students, you divide the subtopics. All of you prepare for a seminar. From next week, we'll start the seminar. What is this? You have not taught anything. And you're covering the whole of the syllabus in seminar. This is expecting too much from the students. What are you there for? You're not relating to the students. You feel you are a born teacher. You never had any schooling. You never had any graduation, post-graduation class. You directly arrived in the classroom. So you don't relate to them. You say, this is all done. I am the teacher. You listen to me. You should remember your own school days, your own college days, the way you were struggling to find notes, struggling to understand things. Now you have an insight. Now you understand things in a crystal clear way. And those students, the previous batches have made you understand those things in with such much of clarity because you explained it to them. They asked questions. So you got more understanding of that particular concept. Should not be too strict. Like this is the way you have to sit in the class. What is this? 90 minutes, no one can sit with their back straight. You try to do it once. You will just move yourself after every 10 minutes. So we have to stay away from giving individual attentions as well. There are changes happening in higher education scenario. Now the universities like this MMTTC is happening. So they are training new staff to teach. There are targets in the university mission and value statement where we are saying that we are having more students with better employability options. We are having staff-student partnerships coming up. We have students' charters, student voices. Graduate attributes are now very clearly defined in the OBE curriculum. The linking with employability. We have the recognition that most of the students will not get into academic careers. They won't become faculty members like us. There are so many career options available now. So skills, enterprise, sustainability are the agendas. We are having entrepreneurship cells in our school, in our universities. We are understanding in auditioning practice can be helpful. We are having them come out with their own startup ideas and all that. So we have to understand these changes in the scenarios. We are no longer in that we'll do graduation, then post-graduation, and then gradually migrate to PhD. Not everyone is doing that. We are now recognizing how our graduate students, what are the attributes that we are promising in our graduate students. We know where the students, what are the different areas where our students are going to go into. We are defining service courses that those students can do during their own regular graduation courses, so that they are more skilled. So we are more into skill development. So if you look into the classroom, the student is looking at you with different questions. The student is thinking, is my teacher really that important person that he's the only one who will give me all the knowledge? There are so many different ways in which I can get the same knowledge on the same topic. There are digitally available courses. There are digital content available. There are videos available. Similarly, if I just go on reading from the point wise, that means that what is this? After second slide, I just zoned out because you're just reading from some book somewhere you have prepared this PowerPoint. So we have to engage student in the material by answering questions rather than constantly lecturing them. Also, the student is wondering, why don't we tell, the teacher is telling me, why are we doing this experiment? We are just doing the experiment for the sake of doing an experiment. But what is the real motto behind it? How is it applied in the real life? Can we not connect it? We have to relate the material to the real world or to the actual task. And otherwise, the student looks at you and says, whatever you are teaching me, it's all in the books. Now I can go and sit in the library and read it. Why do I need to listen to your monotone? So this is a new age student because the student has exposure to so many different things. I know it is very uncomfortable for all of us higher education students, but this is how the students nowadays are thinking. But we, as higher education faculty member, feel this is a student just out of their school. They don't know what is good teaching. So my 30-year-old notes are very good, very nice. My teacher also taught me like this. I will also teach like this. Also, why do I need to give them evidence of everything? I am teaching it. I am the teacher. I am lecturing it. I am right. They should take notes from this. Also, this is our Indian context. Why it work here? It is working in Western counterparts. For Indian student, this is how I'm going to do it. Because this is how we do here. So this is the teacher's perspective. And that is why we have to now change it. because the profile of a modern classroom, if you look into the Edgar Dale's thing, it is like student talking, teacher talking, both of them. There has to be an active environment. You have to migrate from passive learning to active learning. And if you look into average learner retention after 24 hours, if the student is only listening, only 5%. If the student is reading as well as listening, it will be 10%. If the student is listening, hearing, everything, so it is 20%. If it is observing as well, you're showing them some experiments, you are giving them some live examples, some immersive example, it's 30%. You are also involving them in a discussion, so it becomes 50%. You are also bringing in constructing and completing the knowledge, giving them some analysis, some synthesis, asking them to conclude, have brainstorming session, it becomes 70%. And if they are into peer group teaching, many of the times I just gave you an example where a teacher distributed the whole of the content in seminars and said that, okay, the syllabus is over. Now the next 3 months, we'll have seminars from each one of you. That will be your internal assessment as well. And also it will be peer group teaching. Now UGC promotes peer group teaching. Agreed. Every class should have peer group teaching. That is there. But at the same time, when we are doing peer group teaching, and do you have any idea why do you have peer group teaching? What is the main idea behind peer group teaching? Seminars are now compulsory in all higher education classes now. Q? Any idea?
Teaching others give us 100% of understanding.
I don't get it, sir. What?
Teaching others will give 100% understanding of the content.
Okay. What else? What else?
I think they all are
Conceptual
connected with each
clarity
other.
stays there in
One by one, please. Yes.
conceptual clarity and stays
Conceptual
there in
clarity. Okay. What else?
The
What else? Yes.
connectivity among the students is more than the teacher.
The what of?
Connectivity
Connectivity.
in the group.
Okay. See, how I look at it is that UGC mandated that there should be seminars happening in classes towards the end of the year semester. We somewhere, because we as teachers, the more experiences that we have in teaching, our conceptual clarity increases. But at the same time, it's a human behavior that we start taking things for granted. For example, all of us are higher education student. Suppose we are supposed to go in a nursery class or look into the time when your own children or your own brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters were small. So you had to tell them how to write A in their notebook or how to hold a pencil. How many of us, without irritation, actually told them 35 times to hold a pencil properly or draw a standing line or a sleeping line? We were getting irritated because we are higher education faculty members. So what happens is our concept clarity goes up and up, and we start taking certain basic concepts as granted. That itna to aata hoga. This much, so at least they know. Okay. So what happens is, you can keep it here.
Ma'am, you are in flow, but it's
Yeah,
time for
sorry.
break if you want to.
Acha,
Okay, you
okay. In
told me
5
to
minutes, 5
remind.
minutes
That's
I'll break.
fine.
5 minutes I'll break. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happens is our conception, sorry, someone just came in. So the conceptual clarity are, because we are more conceptually clear on that topic. So some of the basics of that subject, we start taking it for granted. Ki itna to aata hi hoga. Itna bhi nahi aata tumko. See, if you look into your classes, we say it many times. Ki we start from some basic previous knowledge standard to all our students, isn't it? So that is why we are trying to promote peer learning, because that peer group starts from the same basic previous knowledge assumption, which is widened with an experienced faculty member. A new faculty member, you see, they are very much connected with the students, not because of the same age, but because they are almost the peers. Their previous understanding and the new understanding is almost very near to each other. But the more, like the further we go in our understanding, we start taking for granted the basic concepts. This much, so at least you know. Let us move forward from here. You're getting it? So that is why UGC came up with this idea of peer group learning, where the students explain things to their own counterparts in the language that their own students understand. Okay. But what we have made is that we also make it more bookish, which was not the idea behind it. Okay. So yeah, we can just 5 more minutes and then we'll give them a break. I know it is like the break should be there. So coming back here, teaching each other gives you 90% retention because yes, there is a commonality in the terms of previous knowledge and also a commonality in the terms of the language which is being used in making the other students understand. Okay, so this is how it happens. The classroom context and process, this is more educational, wherein a lot of factors actually play a role, and when the in between the input and output, input is the teacher's characteristics, student characteristics, and the output. So when the classroom, the teacher's behavior, student behavior, and so many other things play a part in how the students learn in the class. There are a lot of student-centric activities. I think we will take these student-centric activities uh, post the break. We can have a break for 10 minutes, 12:25. So we'll have a break of only 10 minutes. And then we'll come back here again, 12:35. Let's join again. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'll join in
Thank you,
again.
ma'am. Thank you.
I'm actually not leaving the class. So I'll be joined in here. 12:35, we'll start again. Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we are also here.
Thank you, ma'am. चुकून याचा विद्यापीठाकडून हा पेपर आला नव्हता. तो
Yes, I am back. I hope everyone is back. 10 minutes break.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so I'll share it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we were talking about the integration of e-learning and LMS in our own classrooms. So what are the student-centric activities that we are engaged in now in the current scenario of changes in policy changes and the way students are reacting? So we are having foundation course design. I think all of us have designed foundation courses. We are also into mentoring. We have mentor-mentee relationships defined in our classrooms. There are counseling sessions happening on regular basis. There are extra classes for weak students for individual subjects. We are also like trying to tag weak students coming with star performance. We are having groups there so that the students who have their concept clear can actually help the students who are a little bit not so ahead in their understanding of the concept can actually come there. We are planning orientation programs for the students as well. So many of these things are happening. Okay. We also have value added programs, the service courses that we have. For example, a student who is doing a course in public administration, he's doing a degree in public administration, at the same time can take up a small course in English language writing, or may take up a small course in journalism, where how to write articles. So some of the value added programs are also there. There are personality development classes across the institution for different level of students happening. We are actually asking guest lectures from the academies here, from other universities, or also from the organizations, from the um, companies, from all across to come and share with the students their real world experiences. We are also having visits planned for our students so that they can visit the organization and observe what's happening there. We are giving them a lot of project work. We have business simulation labs across established in so many universities. Incubator labs are there where startups are funded. Entrepreneurship development cells are there where the students are encouraged to go for starting up their own things instead of looking out for jobs all across. So all of these things are happening everywhere. So when we talk about like so many things we have talked about, ki how the students are changing, how the teachers are acting, what are the expectations that we have from the students, the expectation that the students has from us, the expectation that overall the government or the administration has from us as higher education teachers. So there, without integrating LMS in our teaching, it will be very difficult to actually meet all of these expectations. So we can have LMS in our teaching modes in different forms. We can have flipped classroom environment, we can have blended or hybrid classroom environment, or we can have a fully online classroom environment as well. So let us start with flipped classroom. What is a flipped classroom? So we can flip it. Flip it means the flipped classroom. What does it do? It inverts the traditional teaching method. It delivers the instruction online, whereas outside of the class, and it moves the homework into the class. Now let us understand it by a simple example. For example, suppose I have to deliver this content of how to integrate LMS or e-learning in higher education classrooms for effective teaching learning. Okay, this is my delivery of the day. This is my teaching of the day. So what I could do is I could share a video lecture on this with you a week before, like so that you have a leisure of listening to it multiple times, so you can listen to it, make notes of it. If there are certain points of discussion, you can note it down. If there are something where you are confused a bit, certain arguments that I had given in that video lecture, you have noted it down. So everything, so what I was supposed to do in the class, I have recorded it and I've shared it with you, so that you can watch, run and rerun it multiple times. I'm just giving you a simple example. There are many ways of flipping your classroom. This is
Ma'am,
just us. Yes.
what I have done, I used to send them the video, but it is of some another person which is already on YouTube, and then I
Okay.
used to have the discussion, or I am trying to clarify their doubts. Okay,
Okay.
so is it also a part of a flip classroom, or it's
Okay.
the video should be of mine only?
No, no, no. I'm not understanding. Please tell me again.
The video should be of mine only
Hmm.
for the
Oh no,
flip
it can be
classroom.
anyone else's also. In flipped classroom, there
Yeah,
are
I have
so
used
many
that.
online generated video. You watch the
Yeah,
whole video and you felt it is in sync with what you want to say. Okay. Because
yeah,
not all of us have that ability to create a video or that much of resources to create a good video. Both the things
yeah,
should be there. Like we should also be like a good orator. We should have a script ready. I should be able to write a nice script. I should be able to deliver that script, look into the camera and speak, have those sort of voice modulations when you're looking into the camera and speaking. So if someone has done that for you, you can reuse it. That is also counted as a flipping thing. Okay, I think I had
okay,
not
ma'am.
shared it and I was just looking into it. So let me go there. So as I said, we will talk about flipped classroom. So here, the traditional teach. So what is happening is I am sharing the session with my students, giving them ample time to rerun it. I'm giving you like a simple example. This video I record and then I share it with my students, with my participants, everyone. They go through it, they watch it, they prepare notes, everything. Now generally what we do, we give them a session in the class and then give them some assignments to do at home, to some extra readings to be done at home, some extra questions to be answered and then submitted to me. Now what I bring is that homework I bring into the classroom. Now when I enter the classroom, I know that my students have already gone through that basic video that I had given it to them. So now I am asking them their doubts, their questions. I'm bringing out discussion points from that thing. I'm taking a quiz in my class. So this is flipping that. So now the understanding of students will enhance, because previously the delivering of knowledge was done in the class and understanding was left to the student to complete, so that in their leisure, they were, while doing the extra assignments, work, tutorial, reading that I have given, their understanding enhances. Now I'm bringing that enhancement of understanding to my classroom. And this is a very simple way of flipping the classroom. The most simplest manner in which we can flip a classroom. So that means in traditional classroom, if you look, the teacher's role is I am the sage on the stage. For example, here I am on the stage like a sage delivering what is to be done. So I am giving a lecture. And then also I'll give you a homework. If you read these, answer these questions and submit it tomorrow. But in a flipped classroom, now I'm the guide on the side. I'm sitting aside. I am just writing the questions on the board and then making groups answer those questions, present it to us. Okay. So now what is happening? Because they have watched the lecture, they know what is there, what is to be taught. They have gone through it. They have gone through the material multiple times as per their leisure. Okay. So many times they have gone through it. Here in the class, if you ask me to repeat what was said in the previous session before the break, I won't be able to repeat it verbatim. Can I? Like if you tell me, ma'am, do one thing, वो पहले हमारे को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, we could not understand a word, please repeat the whole thing. I will try to repeat it, but I'll change my words. I will repeat it in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes. I won't take the whole of 1.5 hours for repeating it. The words will change, but that won't happen when you have recorded a video. Wherever the student has a problem, they'll pause. You have seen YouTube videos with different speed also. Sometimes you go very slow. Sometimes you listen to it in 2x speed. Sometimes you listen to it in 1.5x speed. So you can do it as per your understanding. You can pause in between, re-listen it again. So that way your understanding, your learning pace is defined by the learning pace is defined by the student. They can go with that learning material that is given to them at their own pace. So in the class, now the teacher will be the guide and will enhance the understanding of the students on that particular topic. Okay, so basic principle of flipped classroom is that what is traditionally done in the class is now done at home, and what is done at home is done in the classroom. This is the basic principle, as I said. Generally, what happens is we try to learn, we try to deliver the knowledge in the class, and then the understanding is most of the time done at home. But here, we give them the knowledge base beforehand. They go through the knowledge base, and then they come to us, and they are enhancing their understanding in the classroom with the help of the teacher. The teacher gives them a lot of lead questions, a lot of assignments, a lot of discussion points, and that way they brainstorm and come. So here, it's like you can have both summative and formative assessments here. We'll talk about what are summative and formative assessments in the upcoming slides. So this is a very well thought out method. This is one of the initial methods that were thought about when we started integrating e-learning or digital content in our classrooms in higher education. So these were one of the initial methods that were tested, that were popularized initially, and can be very well done in our traditional classrooms as well. Now in this flipped classroom, what happens is the student watch lectures at home at their own pace. They communicate with their own peers and teachers via online. You can also create a forum, a WhatsApp group, or some place there on a website somewhere. In one of your LMS, for example, you're using Moodle, so Moodle can have a discussion forum. Okay, I was going through this thing, and here somewhere I have a problem. So the peer group can also have this discussion. This means this means that. So online discussion can happen even before they are coming to the class. Then the concept engagement takes place in the actual classroom, where the way we say, like in our education, we go for the different level of cognitive learning. So you start with knowledge, then you go for understanding, okay, then you go for after understanding, go for application. So that way, this concept engagement going ahead in your cognitive domain actually can take place in the actual classroom. So educational technology, active learning, these become the two major component of your classroom model. They both influence student learning environment very fundamental way, because if you are engaged in flipped classroom, the way Dr. Kundan shared, that he already shares them with the e-resources, and the student listen to those videos. You can also keep a tab on how many students listen to them, how many times it was rerun, because every time a student logins in, goes through the whole of the video, it is recorded, or went to the video only once in 2x speed. So that is also recorded. So all of these things are already ingrained there in LMS. So you can keep it. This is known as learning analytics. So you have that data with you. So you know how effective they are. Are the students actually using them or not? So they can be there, and that way you can have active learning engagements happening in the classroom using the flipped classroom model. But then the question comes, I love lecturing and I am a lecturer, because our original nomenclature was that when you join higher education as a lecturer, you become a reader and then you become a professor. Okay. And someone, like once, one of a senior professor, we were having this discussion, ki why this nomenclature. So I was told that lecturer means someone who reads a lot of book and then prepares the knowledge that is given in those books in form of, in their own words, and then they go and deliver it in the class. So that is a lecture. So they are a lecturer. Then slowly they become voracious reader, because they keep on reading. So they become a reader, and then they start professing new knowledge to become professor. Nowadays we are assistant professor, associate professor, and all of us are professing knowledge. But you are not a lecturer, even if the nomenclature has changed. But and as per the previous nomenclature or as a new nomenclature, even, you are not supposed to lecture in the class. You are a facilitator, a guide. You are a guide on the side, an ultimate tutor. You are the mentor. You have to let them learn at their own pace. Your students are not coming from, not the same. They all have their own learning pace. So you are a facilitator. Please try to understand your role there. You don't have to go to the class and just go on for 90 minutes. You have to lecture. No. You try to see that you are a facilitator in their journey of knowledge. You are a guide on the side. You are the tutor. You are the mentor. Okay. And that will help you understand. So coming to LMS, what are the core LMS functionality? They are the nowadays, like as I said, you have to integrate them in your regular day-to-day classes, so they become the central nervous system of your education. They have multiple functions that support teaching, learning, and administrative processes. Once you ingrain them in your regular teaching, learning work, you, so much of your workload will be reduced, the redundant ones, and you will have more time to read and research. So, if you understand these core capabilities of LMS, you will be able to leverage this platform so effectively, and you can make so many decisions about the course design. You can integrate so many things in it. So it basically has content management. It has a lot of communication tools, various methods in which you can have assessment and feedbacks done. And as I said before, learning analytics, where you know how are your students dealing with the different learning materials that you are giving them. So in terms of content management, if you see, so you can organize, you can store, and you can deliver diverse learning materials. So for one single topic, you can have video lectures, you can have PDFs given, you can have links shared, you can have write blogs on that, you can have discussion forums, everything. So there'll be documents, videos, interactive simulations, multimedia resources, everything on one single topic. And all of these are governed under SCORM. Like, this is a new term, but basically it means shareable content object reference model. There is certain guidelines that are universally supported, and these are not for us. These are for the people who are coders, who are uploading it to the website on that HTML, on that www. So you don't need to know them. You create your things, and then that Moodle, whosoever has written that Moodle, you don't write that Moodle. You are just using the Moodle platform. You upload it wherever there is a section of upload for that, but under that particular topic. Okay. You just create a folder. The way you create your folders on computers, the same way you create your folder under different topics, subtopics, and in that subtopics, you can put all, or you can organize, store, and deliver all your content. And also, suppose you have to teach 4 topics, and there are, each topic has 5 to 6 subtopics. So you can actually upload all the content at the same time, but your students will have access to that content only when you give them that, yes, you give them a signal. So even you don't have to every time make sure that, oh my God, I have to teach this now, I have to upload this also. You just have to put in the calendar. You can just merge it with a calendar, and this month this content will also be available, the next month this content is also open, the next month this content is also open. You can have these sort of things also happening there. So imagine Once you have created the content, once you have collated the content, you can actually put it there, organize it, and it will be delivered as per your schedule. You can do it using a calendar, using a automated method, or you can also do it like on your own. Whenever you feel like that now I have to share this material now, you can then go there and share it. You cannot, well, no need to even automate it. So it is both ways possible. The communication tools that are available there, synchronous as well as in asynchronous interaction. Synchronous means at the same time the teachers as well as the students are there on the platform. So the students are asking questions, the teachers are there answering the questions. So you can have discussion forums which are live. So you can send a mail to your students that today the discussion forum will be live. You can ask me direct questions. There can be asynchronous interaction as well. The discussion forum where the students are posting questions and their peer group or you are answering them whenever you have time. So both sort of discussion forums may be created. There are messaging systems also where you can directly interact or you can interact, you can answer whenever you have time. You can have messaging systems where a single click you can send a message to all your students, the announcements about submission of certain assignments, tutorials, or the upcoming exams, quizzes. You can have integrated video conferencing also there, which may be recorded or not recorded. There are tools that foster community and enable meaningful dialogues amongst the students. All of this is available on e-learning resources. And very easily, like they are all graphical user interface available. You just click on it and it is available. Next is assessment and feedback. Obviously, assessment and feedback is our part and part of our job as higher education faculty members, and most of the time we are involved in either the assessment that happens at the end of the semester or sometimes internal assessments as well. But here you can create varied types of assessments. For example, you can create quizzes, and there are platforms which help you create quiz. You can create assignments, they can be submitted. You can have deadlines for assignment submission, after which the assignments will not be accepted. You can have peer reviews. The students have submitted their assignments as documents, as PDFs. You can then have peer reviews, means the other students may correct them and give them grades without knowing whose copy they are correcting. So it may be just randomly given to going here and there. So every assignment is corrected by 5 people in the same class. So you can have an average of that. And at the same here, there are two good things coming up. One, the student is learning how the other people have attempted that question. And two, they are also understanding what are the weaknesses and the plus points of that particular, the way in that particular answer is written. Okay. You may have rubric based evaluation where you have certain criteria well defined in advance and giving them certain marks well in advance, so that on the basis of that criteria you can have evaluations done. So that way of rubrics also you can define. You can have automated grading and detailed feedback mechanisms. Now, because it is all happening electronically, gradings, you can also have feedback mechanisms where the student needs to improve. What are the things that were done in a very nice way? For what are the aspects for which the students need to revise, reread certain things? So this supports the both formative and summative assessment strategies. All of this, and because if you're doing it not using the e resources, it will be a very tedious task for you because you are not taking care of only one class. You are taking care of so many classes across different semesters, also across different courses. So when you have to do it across all courses everywhere, it becomes so difficult. But then when you are using resources, it becomes very easy. Learning analytics, as I say, we can track student engagement, how many times that student has watched that video. Did he pause? How many times was it paused? How many times it was repeated? Everything. We also can monitor progress because the data is there, assessment data is there with us. We can identify at-risk learners, the learners which were doing good, but sometimes they had some fall in their academic achievements. We can generate insights. We can have outlets happening. We can see where the students are going wrong. So we can take informed instructional decisions. If we want to prepare some extra content for some students, we can actually do that and send it across. or give access to that extra content to some specific students. So these data-driven approaches, they enable personalized interventions and also help in continuous improvement for the teacher as well as the student. For the teacher in terms of their own teaching assignment, and for the students to enhance their learning pace. Okay, so there are so many popular LMS platforms in higher education, a lot of them. Many of them are very dominant players. Everyone has each LMS platform has their own strength. They have their own pedagogical philosophies, institutional fit considerations. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So what platform are you going to select depends on your institution's priorities, what technical infrastructure you have, and what do you want to achieve. If you really want to scale up, there are certain platforms. If you really want to be very particular with only your students, there are certain platforms. So we'll discuss some of the popular platforms, not in terms of how to upload your content there, but what exactly they are. Just a little orientation of what are the LMS platforms available. I think you have a class on Moodle tomorrow in 2 or 3 days by Professor Srinivas. He uses Moodle platform, and he's like some authority on how to use Moodle. So there is one of very popular Canvas by Instructure platform. It is one of the fastest growing platform internationally, and it is popular with large research universities. It is open. Okay, it is reliable, and it manages digital learning, and it creates online learning materials, so that, and also assesses the students learning, and students engage in courses, receive feedback about skill development and learning achievement. I think this is common across all, but its strength is that it has intuitive interface. It has a very good interface for integrations, and it has a mobile design, like it can be used through mobile as well. It has a strong community support. Like whenever you ask questions here, a lot of people who are using Canvas all across the world come out and help you out if you really want to use some of their features or want something else there. So it goes on improving. There are frequent updates there, but it requires very good internet connectivity. And if you want to use it in totality, you have to purchase some additional licensing. So Canvas by Instructure is not very common in India, but all across the world, if you go ahead, you will find that this is one of the most popular ones. Blackboard Learn. Here it is also very old, and it has a lot of institutions across the globe actually have adopted it. It is mainly used, like it is designed in collaboration with a lot of educators, and it saves instructors time. Students' choice is very important here when you go to that interface, and you can check all of these interfaces. So it promotes continuous improvement for all. It has a very comprehensive feature set. It is made in terms of a enterprise, and it has the security is very good. Every time you have to log in as a student, as an instructor, as a teacher, there are a lot of login options available. A lot of customizations options also available, and you can integrate it with campus systems. You can actually, across various courses, if you are sharing some courses across disciplines, you can make those uh, define those lines as well. Like people from journalism can take up some courses in English, and that way, so that sort of a thing you can actually do. So but the interface is a bit old, not very modern, and if there are new users, they are a bit taken aback because this interface is not so very good. It is more like a blackboard learning. So it takes you back to that era. Moodle is very popular in India. That is why I've taken it on the third. It is one of the open source solution, no licensing required, nothing. So it is very, very strong in India. I've taken the Europe, but as well as the whole of India, I think all the universities have developed their Moodle platform. It is like you have an existing online platform, you have a YouTube channel already set up in your um, uh, this thing university. You already have a Swayam channel running in your university. So what you have to do is you can just take it directly to Moodle. You can have links there. So many features are developed on Moodle to make it more standard. And there is calendar, there is grade book, individual, personalized grade book across courses, grade book for the overall semester, everything you can make it. So it is highly customizable. It is free. So that is why it is most popular in India. Has no licensing fee. It has a very active developer community. You mail it to them that we need this feature as well, and they put in there. It has a strong pedagogy focused design philosophy. So it caters most to the Indian mindset that I want to teach this thing that way only. So only this much should be visible per day. So it actually helps you formulate or design your learning environment the way the teacher wants. A little bit of technical expertise is required for setup and maintenance, and which I think Professor Srinivas is going to take care of. So you will be very much accustomed with Moodle in a day or two. I think his session is day after tomorrow or on Monday, I suppose. I don't know. Somewhere to have that session on Monday, I think. So, but then once you are you just know what Moodle interface is, it becomes very easy. And this is open source. This is free for you. So once you make your account on Moodle and then you share it with your students, you give them student access. So you have teacher access, your students have student access, and then you can share all the learning material that you have created with them. You can share with them YouTube links the way just now Sir shared with me that he sometimes shares with his students some videos before the taking actual class on that. So you can do it on Moodle as well. You can also prepare some quizzes there that before coming to the class, they can attempt some quizzes and you have their answers, their result in front of you before you start off with your session or analysis of the session that you're going to do. So Moodle is very good. Another is Brightspace. It is generally very much prevalent for school sector, higher education as well, but K-12, like from KG to 12 standard. It has a lot of accessibility features. Learning and analytics is also there. Mobile using is there, but most of the time it's a cloud-based software suite, and it is not free. Many of its things are paid, and it is also now slowly becoming popular, and it is integration it's still developing. You also have Google Classroom where you can integrate a lot of things, but there you are actually most of the time using all the Google things, and Google Classroom also gives you a lot of space there. Now, using any of this, how will you design effective online course architecture? Because it is overall architecture. You have video sessions, you have multimedia components, you have assessment tools, you have student forums, you have discussion forums, you have various ways of assessment and grading. Then you have individual grade statements, you have overall class grade statements. You also track how the students have performed throughout the course in that semester. So many things you have to actually bring it together, and that is why it is known as an architecture. You have to ingrain everything, you have to link everything. So you have to actually first think how you're going to go ahead with it, because you are the best judge of your course. So you have to first have a very thoughtful architecture done, which is the foundation of your successful online learning experience. Face to face, you can have spontaneous adjustment done. You started with something, you looked at your students, they are confused, you tone down your language, you start using easier language, but that is not possible when you have created a video lecture. You just don't know. So here you have to have very clear understanding of what may go wrong, how the students may interpret, and that is why you should have a very good design which anticipates learners' needs, provides clear navigation, and supports diverse learning preferences. You have to be very clear there. Okay, so you have to sit and you have to, and this is like one time job. Later on, you can do a lot of iteration there, but initially you have to have very clear understanding of that, because once you have uploaded it, you have shared with the students, you cannot change it then. You can change it for the next batch then, from the inputs that you have got from this batch. Okay, so right now you have to make sure that whatever you are sharing with your students is well thought about. Okay, so what are the things that we need to take care when we are doing that? You have to establish clear learning outcomes. What do you want from this course? And that I think we all are done for our courses, because OBE is already defined. So you begin with specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time-bound learning objectives. That is smart learning outcomes. very specific. This course will lead to this, measurable. The students were at this level of knowledge or understanding, and now they are at this. The academic achievement shows that. It should be achievable. You cannot teach the whole of the curriculum in 2 months or through one single video. So it should be achievable. You take up small tidbits, a very small subtopic, and then you prepare it. You understand the learning outcome of that. It should be relevant, in sync with what is your curriculum. Time bound. In what time are you going to achieve it? So that sort of learning objectives you define and then align with the program. What is your overall program, your graduation degree or overall the first semester? These are the courses. What are the professional competencies that are going to grow out of this? So this will guide how are you going to design your course. You can also have multiple pathways. Oh, my God, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 are all up and down. So first is establish clear learning outcomes. I'm sorry for this. Second, that is why I said you cannot design multiple pathways without chunk content strategically. So you have to now, there is a lot of content available. And we are in our field of teaching learning since 5+ years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years. So there is so much of a content that is to be taught. But we have to break that module into logical modules or units, which will correspond to the weekly interactions. Okay, this week, this much is going to be shared, or this key concept will be sharing in the next 1 week, 2 week, or so on and so forth. So every module should be structured in a 3 to 5 hours of student engagement. You cannot have 10 hours of video lectures going on for 1 week. Who's going to listen to it? So you have to balance the depth with the cognitive load management. You have to understand how much cognitive inputs are you going to give and what will be the student's understanding at the end of it. So every week, don't give more than 3 to 5 hours of student engagement, including video lectures, multimedia content, and quizzes. So all the content should be placed in very strategically. Also, you need to create consistent structure. You have decided on the learning outcomes. You have put in your content strategically. Now you have to create very consistent structure. That is, there should be a consistency. This after this, after this. For example, here in this, there is no consistency. From 1, you are going to 4, then 2, then 5, then 3, then 6. This is not how it should be arranged. I think while I was arranging it, it just went up and down. So sorry for that. So you have to create a consistent structure. You have to develop a predictable pattern for each module. You start with the introduction, then you have learning materials, some activities, assessment, reflection. So this consistency, if you follow, and then it depends on what you are teaching. You will have your own consistency structure. It will reduce the cognitive overhead. And the students will then focus on the content rather than navigation. What next, what next, what next? They won't do that. They will go through the content and they know once I'm over with this, I'll go to the quizzes. Once I'm over with that, I'll go to some assessment. I'll be going for some reflection activities. Okay, so then they will have a consistency in their learning and they can have a good pathway of learning. Okay, then design the multiple pathways. Now, I may be a gifted student. You have given me something. So I complete my work very fast. So then what should I do? So there should be some additional learning as well. So I can have choices. Do you want to read more? Do you want to have more? For example, now in books also, there are some boxes, additional reading, additional information. So you can also have multiple pathways for students like that. Or some additional reading for people who have not able to understood from what it is there. So in-depth understanding. So you can have those multiple pathways also available so that the students can explore topics of personal interest. They can select from alternative assignments. Okay, you can do a quiz or else you can also go for a multiple choice questions. You can go for short answer questions or you can write an essay on this. So they know that they have alternative assignments. They can engage with the content in their own preferred modality. If you want to look into a PPT and understand, okay. You want to just read a PDF, okay. There is a video lecture available. There's an audio lecture also available. There are some interactive course material available where you just read and then answer questions and then go ahead. Then I read, answer questions, go ahead. So it's interactive also. So you can design multiple pathways and you don't need to learn programming for this. All these learning management systems have the things already there. For example, you don't have to type in the code if you want to compose a mail in Google. It is just a small tab there which says compose. The moment you press compose, a form opens in front of you to CC subject and your subject matter jahan pe wherever you type. So it is there. The form is open and you just click send. You don't have to again write a code to send your mail to someone. You don't have to do that. It is already there. The interface is there. So all the learning environment management system give you this interface to design multiple pathways. Then you build in flexibility point. I have started with the way, suppose I'm a student, I have started with my learning point, but then in between I felt this is too easy. So there should be flexible deadlines for assignments, or that I can submit it within 2 days of reading the material to 10 days of reading the material. There are deadlines, but the submission date should have a range. So that gives me flexibility. It's not that that day only within that half an hour I have to submit it. There should be optional enrichment material, extra readings, opportunities for students to demonstrate learning in various. For example, you have understood, can you record a video and upload it here? So you can build in flexibility points as well. And then plan for iteration, where you keep that revision in mind. You have given it to one semester students. You have tracked the analytics of it. How were the students using it? What were the material that were left totally untouched? What were the material that were used by almost all the students? What were the materials that were used by some students? What was the basic assignment methodologies that most of the students used? What were the assignments that were never touched by anyone and they went for some other option? They never chose that option. So you can track that analytics. You can also have feedback from your students as well. So you always build the course with the revision in your mind. So you schedule regular reviews, and for the next semester student, with that input coming from the previous semester, you improve the learning experience based on all the evidences that you have got from the student. So that student input is providing you with that those changes that you want to make in your LMS. How does the core LMS function? Okay, because you are not doing the programming. So there, in the course management, you are managing the course content, the schedules, student enrollment, making administration smoother and more efficient. So what you do is, every semester now in the face-to-face design also, every semester you give them some notes, you share some books with them, you share previous year question papers and all that. So instead of doing this in person, the LMS is providing you tools where these course contents may be shared with your student in a more dynamic manner. You can also prepare schedules. These are the assignment deadlines. These are the tutorial deadlines. These are the quiz questions that will be happening. How are the student using those courses? Who are the students who are not into it? So the mail will be sent to them automatically. So your administration is smoother and more efficient. You don't have to every time sit with it and see how many students are actually attending and how many are not. The LMS is also always goes on giving you reports, and you can generate reports at your own will as well. So tracking and analytics becomes very, very easy. They allow us to monitor students' progression as well as participation in a very effective manner. LMS, because monitoring participation becomes very difficult. The student is sitting in your class, but are not sure whether they are participating or not. But to have an effective participation, these LMS actually helps it a lot. So they have tracking features. Were the students using the videos or not? How many quizzes have they attempted? When they got wrong answers, did they attempt it again? Did they went through the reading material again before attempting the quizzes? All of this can be tracked, and very easily. You don't have to program or do anything. You just touch the right buttons, because it is graphical user interface, and you will get everything. Collaboration tools are very important. In LMS, you can actually ask your fellow peer group, the teachers who are working with you, or across different universities, to collaborate. Please join in the discussion forum, because today we are going to discuss on this and this topic. So imagine that the teacher does not have to come physically to your department or leave their own work there. They can, for those 15-20 minutes, half an hour, They are just joining the discussion forum, and there is a good, nice peer interaction happening. And students are being enriched by that extra knowledge partner that they have got. So this sort of collaboration is also possible when you are integrating LMS features in your day-to-day teaching. So collaboration happens. What are the engagement strategies for online learners? Now we have developed this. Okay, how should we make sure that the students' engagement is also enhanced? For that, we have to have intentional design and active facilitation. Students are coming to our classroom, they have a natural social presence in our classroom. So, what now, as an instructor, as a facilitator, I need to create structured opportunities for interaction slowly. I'll say that, okay, this is the Moodle that we have developed, or this is the LMS that I'm using. Can we have can all of you just have your logins made there, and I'll approve them, because as a teacher I have to approve my students logins, and then slowly and steadily I have to build on that community, and then I have to design activities that promote deep learning rather than surface learning. So I have to and I'll tell them that a lot of notes, a lot of curriculum related material is available there on that learning management platform. So you can have your login made, I will approve it, then you will be the students there. And I, for that particular course, a lot you have to show them first. You have to show them the interface, make them a bit of friendly with that interface. They know that interface very nicely, and then only you can actually promote that deep learning, and they will be so very enthusiastic to use that. You cannot just share it, that link with them and say that, okay, now you go ahead and explore. You have to start building that interaction deliberately in the classroom. You have to actually push them, push your students towards that. So what happens is, there'll be cognitive engagement as well. There will be social engagement. So there'll be deep thinking through problem-based learning, because you have put a lot of case studies there. In your class, you have a restriction of time. You cannot, if you are trying, if you have to discuss certain cases, for example, in management education, you don't have time to discuss 10 cases. You'll discuss hardly one or two. But there you can put in different cases, distribute them amongst your students, and ask them to have their understanding on that. They can have it in discussion forums. You can have concept mapping made through you or through your student. Authentic assessments will happen. So you can have peer group assessments happening. You can challenge your students to analyze, synthesize, evaluate, rather than simply remembering, which we are doing in the face-to-face engagement. You can ask them to give assignment submission on provocative questions, where they are analyzing and synthesizing what they have learned, so that their critical thinking is engaged. Okay, there are assignments which you can design assignments which require original application of concepts, which are not available there on ChatGPT. Even ChatGPT doesn't have answer to those questions. So all of this can happen there. Metacognitive reflection activities can be designed there. That depends on your subject. Okay, complex cognitive tasks can you can design it there. Social engagement, because here what is happening, you can design a lot of collaborative projects. You can form groups, ask the students to develop some answer to certain questions, some dilemmas, some case studies. So they are now engaging with each other online as well as offline. You can have peer group review activities, where blind peer review activities, where the student don't know whose assignment are they assessing, but every student's assignment is assessed by 5 peers. You can have discussion forums, virtual study groups made. So social presence also reduces isolation, enhances motivation and persistence, because many of the students are a bit scared there in the classroom. They may not form groups, but in social scenario, they are more open. So establish community guidelines. But then again, you have to, for this social engagement, community guidelines to be established very collaboratively. There should be no bullying happening there. You should use icebreakers and social learning activities. Let everyone introduce themselves on the social group. Though they are meeting each other in the classrooms, let them introduce each other in the social group as well. Create opportunities for informal interaction. Have some general discussions happening there on the discussion forums. So there should be a responsive participation from the teacher as well. You cannot just create a platform, social learning platform, and let the student use it once you have introduced it to them. You should always be a part of it all the time. Okay, because now that your redundant activities are reduced, you can put in a lot of time for engaging yourself in these platforms with your students more frequently. Okay, so you can have cognitive engagement as well as social engagements there. You can have weekly video messages to your students. You can just like casually on Saturdays, Sundays, or Fridays, you can have a brief personal update that yes, okay, we have done these things. Just a small recap. We have learned these things this week. So next week, why not we plan a quiz on this thing, or let us have some sort of um, uh, assignment from all of you. What do you think about it? You can make a video message, post it there, and it goes to all your students, and then they come there. You can have interactive polls for understanding their assessing their understanding and gathering opinions from them. For example, you can just ask them ki, the PDFs that I have shared with you, how many of you went through it, and how did you find it? Anything else, did you find it anywhere else, and can do you want to share it with everyone? Any sort of polls you can design. Virtual office hours, where you are interacting beyond your hours, and it is not very difficult as well, because you can schedule drop-in sessions and have informal interactions. So mentor-mentee relationship, which the UGC has formulated, which NAC also wants that you should have. And what we do is at the start of any semester, we have a mentor defined, and then 3 or 4 or 5 students are linked to that one professor, saying that this is a mentor and these are the mentees. And then they hardly meet twice or thrice, but there's no such great interaction among them. But you can have it using LMS. There are so many gamification options available there on each LMS. Yeah, they have badges, leaderboards, challenges. You have to use them judicially. You just can't engage totally in that. But you can ask some of your students to design some gamification for the course that you're teaching. Student-centered content is really available there. Like all your content that you put on any of the LMS is student-centered. They give the opportunities for learners to contribute to course material. You can ask them, have you find anything different than what is shared here? You want to share it with everyone. So they may have more PDFs, they may have more YouTube videos, or they may have seen some multimedia content on the course that you are teaching. So they can also enrich what is already there on that platform. So these sort of things are also possible there. Assessment and feedback in digital environment. So assessment in online courses serves multiple purposes. You can have learning outcome assessed. You can get feedbacks, improvement, motivating, engagement, generating data for course refinement. So all of this, you can have your academic rigor is always maintained in digital environment. See, I am saying you have to integrate this with your face to face. Okay, so your academic integrity, accessibility, and the educational technology mechanisms that you have available in your institute are used effectively. And there are so much of redundant tasks that you are doing each semester are reduced to minimum, because you are using these e-learning platforms or LMS platforms. So what are the online assessment principles that is there? Alignment with the outcomes. You have designed certain learning outcomes, so your online assessment should be in alignment with your outcomes. The varied assessment traits, because if, you have to actually assess all the traits that are there: transparent criteria, authentic tasks. So when you look into it, when you look into outline with alignment with the outcomes, so every assessment should directly measure whatever are the learning objectives. Okay, so you have to use backward design. You start with what the student should know and should be able to do after I teach them this, and then you are designing the assessment that provide evidence of that learning. So with the online platform, you can actually do this. What do you mean by varied assessment traits? You can have multiple assessment modalities, because all your students have different strengths. So what you can do is can have a comprehensive variety of the evidences of learning. You can have quizzes, essays, projects, presentation, portfolios, collaborative assignments, everything. So suppose out of these 5, my students have to engage in any 5, and I have to take mean of that. I'll get a better assessment of their understanding. Because some students will do good on quizzes, some will do good on essays, some will do good on projects, some will do good on presentations, some will do good on portfolios, some will be better in collaborative assignments. So I'm giving them varied assessment rates. Okay, which is not possible when we are not incorporating these elements, because there is a time constraint. We cannot do all the assessments. Okay, authentic tasks. Here, real world applications of knowledge we can give. We can design assessments that way. And we can give them time to complete that assessment. So here we can actually promote the transfer of learning, and we can demonstrate that the learning that has happened is relevant and enhances the student motivation and engagement using the LMS platform. Sorry. Then transparent criteria. Because we have detailed rubrics, the assessment is done online. And online, we have given a clear criteria that if this is done, this much marks is to be given. If this is done, these much marks is given. So students also know how are they being assessed. So there is a transparency. It's not that you give us a tutorial, submit an assignment in 5 pages, and then you read that assignment, and some you give 7, some you give 5, some you give 8, some you give 10, some you give 4. So but then there is no transparency. You have not told the student who has got 4 why the student has got 4 in comparison to the student who have got 8. But when you are giving it online, there is a clear rubrics also given that they will be assessed.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone wants to ask anything?
Yeah, ma'am, that rubrics can help there to solve the problem. Assessment.
Yeah, I'm not able to understand. Please, yes.
Yes, that rubrics can help there.
Rubrics
So
can
to
help
avoid the
because
discrimination between the marks.
yes, because rubrics, when you design rubrics, na, that very moment, you are also clear on what are the different aspects that you are going to assess the students on. So the clarity is with the teacher as well as the student. Students also know. For example, sometimes when we ask our student that you have to prepare a presentation on that, what is the first question that the student asks? Whenever you give them that you have to give a seminar on this topic and you have to prepare a PPT.
How much
for
marks?
it. No,
How
they
much
ask how
marks?
many slides.
How much slides? Okay.
Yeah,
I have
they
been
are
a
asking.
teacher long enough. The first question that they ask is how many slides? And I say, my dear, if I tell you 10 slides, the first slide will be the topic, second will be your name, and the last slide will be thank you. So you will be coming up with 7 slides. If I say 5, again, you will use 3 slides and you will have only 2 slides. So please, you have to see what is the content, and then you have to divide the slide, and that you are the best judge of it. There is no that clear this thing you have to go in 15 slides, 5 slides, 10 slides. Because if you say 15 slides now, then it will be there. The first will be the topic, the university name and logo. Second will be the topic. Third will be their name and roll number, and then they will start. And last will be conclusion, and then thank you. Matlab, they will try to use those slides in very creative ways, because they have to go for those numbers. So here, if you have rubric that these many marks will be given for your introduction of the topic, these many marks will be given for how well you have clarified or given explanation of that topic, then how have you concluded, and then eventually how have you given your opinion on that particular topic. So if you have clearly defined the rubrics, then it becomes very easy for us to give them marks, and also very easy for the students to submit their work. Okay, so there is a fair evaluation. So rubrics are very important. In fact, all of us should have it. Nowadays, like when we have exams, I think many of us, like this thing, people here might be preparing question papers also. So let me give you a very nice example of question papers that we come across all across higher education. What is the most common question that we ask for 10 marks, 20, 15, 20 marks? what do you think? And then whatever you have the question. Gandhian thoughts on education. What do you think of this aspect? What do you think of theory of relativity? How do you think theory of relativity is relevant today as well? How do you think so and so is applicable in today's world? We give those questions, don't we? Yes, we come across. Many of you might not be giving, but we came across. Now, suppose I am a student and that is a question in front of me, and I write 3 pages on that, or I write around 300 to 500 words on that. How are you going to assess my answer? What marks are you going to give me on what criteria? Can anyone answer?
The key points we are expecting, we are looking for in the answer.
What?
Looking
What
into
is
the answer. The key points, whatever the key points we
okay?
have decided that this should be the key point
Like
that we are
in the
looking into the
class,
answer.
whatever you have said about that particular topic, you want that to be incorporated here. But your question was
How the
what
subject
do
was
you think?
understood.
What
How
Yeah,
the
but
subject or thing was understood.
was understood depending on your understanding of that topic, isn't it?
what he has
But what you have asked is, what do you think? So whatever is presented to me in the platter is right. I should give full mark because this is what he thinks. This is what she thinks.
what is his contribution?
But how have you framed the question? What do you think? What are your views? You've asked that. So whatever is the view, I have to accept that. I have not framed the question then properly. Discuss this is fine. Elaborate on this is fine. But the moment you have asked the students their views, accept their views and give them full marks. You have not defined it properly, isn't it? Please give it a food for thought. This is somewhere out of what is the purview of this thing. But please, like next time when we are doing that. So we should always have rubrics because that help us for assessment. They clarify expectations. They support consistent grading, help us in providing transparent feedback, and they speed up the grading. We know what we have to look out for in the answer. And we look out for them, give them grading, and we go ahead. There are no subjectivity, very less amount of subjectivity that is coming up. Okay. So this is it. Formative versus summative assessment. I've talked a lot about formative and summative, but what are they? So when we talk about formative assessment, they are very low stake activity that we are doing in between the semester to understand how the learning process is progressing. For example, practical quizzes, their attentiveness, how they are giving some submissions, what are the peer review activities they are engaged in, self-assessment checklists, what are the weekly reflection forms, and we can design so many of these formative assessment activities using the e-learning resources or learning management system platform or these learning management platforms. So these formative assessment need to be frequent, specific, actionable in terms of what needs to be changed in my teaching learning course. Okay, so the goal is learning, not grading. What we do is all our internal activities, the goal should be learning. What we do our learning activities with is that we always go for yes, let us grade them on this so that the final mark sheet is always done. But formative assessment activities which we do to, to, throughout the semester are basically for learning. Their intention is not actually grading. We do grade them, but their intention is not grading. We learn where are the students falling short, and then we put in our efforts so that this can be overcome. Summative assessments are semester end exams, final projects. They determine grade. They are the certifications of competency. They are very high stake evaluations. They measure cumulative learning at the end of the unit or at the end of the course. Here you can have research papers, case study analysis. Generally in masters, we give them a research paper to analyze. We ask them to write their own opinion on certain things. We can also develop capstone projects, which may like culminating academic and intellectual experiences for students, synthesizing core concepts. Most of the time in our MPhils, we used to do that, but now MPhil is stopped, so we don't go for it. We can also have them have presentations done for the whole, like the master student are giving presentations for the whole of the department. Everyone is sitting there. Okay, so you can have summative assignment designed in such a way so that the students are able to demonstrate the learning and they are also ready to move out to the real world and face the problems of the real world. So we can have a lot of summative assessment activities also designed through these learning management platforms. Okay. When what are the accessibility and universal designs for learning? There is a universal design for learning principle, which is that on which all of these learning platforms are designed, because they are all coded. They are developed by computer engineers. So they are actually developing these learning management portals using this universal design for learning, which is nothing but it is trying to create flexible learning experiences. And for the learners coming from a widest possible range, different learning styles can be coming there, and that is why it keeps on improving, it keeps on developing. Okay, so these are all based so that we can give different, like, multiple design benefits to all the learners. So this is the basic principle of all learning management system. They are designed so that there is a flexibility in this learning curve that we are going to offer for students. Flexibility in learning curve in face-to-face teaching is limited because we have limitation in terms of time, in terms of resources. But when you use integrate LMS in your face-to-face learning, you are giving them a flexibility in terms of learning, assessment, resource sharing everywhere. Okay, because they are all made in the term in on the principle of universal design for learning. So what is this? You have multiple means of representation, different formats. You students, there are so many learning styles that are available. So students can have text where they are reading, they have audio, video, graphics, interactive media everywhere. They can also have captions, transcript for the video lectures. They can enlarge certain things. You know, they can suppose very small text sizes there, but they can obviously magnify it if you are giving it in terms of e-resource. There were multiple means of action and expression. You have the students can demonstrate their learning in diverse ways. They can submit it to you some written work. They can go for oral presentations. They can go for visual project. They can go for multimedia creations. So many of them. They can involve in quizzes. They can involve in discussion forums. They can write a blog. They can publish it. So many tools are there. There are multiple means of engagement as well, depending on the difficulty levels that every student is facing on the choices of topics. So collaboration options are there. You can connect the students to the content to the students' background, interest, goals. So many ways you can actually have that, and then you just have to revise it every now and then. First time when you are creating it, it may look as a job that you are doing, a lot of engaging job, a very tedious job, but later on all your redundant activities are stopped. You are all like using and reusing it every now and then. You just have to refresh it. Okay, what are the essential accessibility practices that you can do? Heading style for structure, formatting, like how are you using text and all that. Colors coding can be done there. Color contrast ratios can when you are using text, like you are providing notes to your students, so you can have tables with proper headers, screen readers. You can have proper PDF formats, because when you use word formats all around, 5 minutes. So when you use PDF formats all around, so then what happens is you're not using PDF formats. So suppose I'm opening a Word file in my this thing computer on my mobile. So many of the times all the fonts go haywire. I'm not able to access it properly, especially with vernacular. You're not able to read it. So you can make a PDF of it, which can be opened anywhere across all platforms, or HTML alternatives. There are so many different alternatives where your document can be accessible across all the um, devices that the student may use to access that. Multimedia accessibility, you have to create all videos in terms for student created contents. You can give transcript for the audio materials, transcript for the video materials as well. You can have keyboard accessible controls on the videos done. So for example, the space will pause it. The arrow keys may actually enhance the speed. Describe visual information that isn't covered in the narration. You can give them content trees. You can give them concept mapping and all that. Don't have flashing contents. Many of the times, one of my student, he always had this thing of whenever he used to present, he used to have such flashy animations, like the university name or his name is coming like jumping, 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 and all, flashing like that. So academic content should be presented in an academic way. Should be little subtle, but at the same time should have bright colors. Should be eye catchy. Okay, so you have to describe it that way. And then it should also be available, should be able, you have to see that it can be used across different devices which have across different operating systems as well. So it should be there with assistive technologies. Now we have talked about a lot about learning analytics, how to use them for course for course you have to use enhance your course. So every time you put your content on LMS, any of the LMS you use, any of which is the most popular is Moodle, all the data about how your student are using it, about how the student are using it before you revised it and after you have revised it, what are the changes in the way they are using it, how the student are improving in grades across the different quizzes that you have given throughout the semester, your teaching effectiveness, how it has improved, how are the students struggling there, what are the course design decisions that you have to take. All of these analytics are in there. So you have to interpret these analytics very thoughtfully. You have to consider the context also. What are the privacy implications if you have to publish that, like you have to share it all across your department. So to please avoid sharing it with students' names. You can just share it that 10% of the students are not using it. So we need to define it more in terms of those 10%, because most of those 10% are coming from the families which don't have access to a lot of electronic devices. So that way, there should be some privacy implications also when you're reporting that or using those analytics. So, but what is seen through research is that 85% of increased completion rates are reported when the institutions are using predictive analytics to identify and support at-risk students. And then you identify them, give them additional resources, and they show significant improvements in course completion. Also, 40% of our times are saved on grading if you're using LMS platform, because automated assessment features are there, analytic dashboards are there, so our administrative burden is reduced. Automatically, the whole grading is shared with the administrative branch of the university. Also, if you want to give it to the students for transparency purpose, so you can give it to them because the rubrics are already designed. So based on that, they are being graded. So you have a lot of free time for high impact teaching activities because 40% of your time is saved on grading. Also, there are 3 times earlier interventions because you can very easily identify struggling students 3 times earlier as compared to the traditional method. So you can give them support timely. Not you should have you don't have to wait till the semester end to identify your student and then give them some bridge courses or some foundation courses or some extra classes or some extra resource material. You can identify them 3 times early. So that is also one of the very important feature of LMS. What are the key metrics that we need to monitor? So first is how the students are logging in, their frequency and their duration. Like there are a lot of analytics that we get on LMS, but the basic ones I'm just giving it to you. What are their login frequency and for how long have they engaged in? Okay. Sometimes there are some of the students, they just log in every day and then they don't engage in anything. Login in ho gaya, attendance ho gaya. Okay. But here you get both of the things. So you can track when and how long student engage with the course material. How long have they read it? What are the sudden drops or inconsistent patterns? Because if you are finding them with some of the students, that means they are struggling with the confusing course design. They don't know what to do next. So they are just juggling in between, sometimes opening a PDF, sometimes going into a video, sometimes trying to attempt a quiz, then again coming back here. So if you see this type of inconsistencies in your face-to-face class, you can tell them how to go about it, give them a clear roadmap. Again, they might have missed it. So you can track that. Then you can also see what is their content engagement pattern. How are they going? Which of the resources they are accessing more frequently? How long are they? What are the time duration that they are spending with different materials that they have given to them? Whether pictorial or textual or multimedia type. So which of the content they are skipping? They are just not going into it. This reveals what resonates with your students and what needs revision, or what are the things that you can just skip, no need to be there. So you know what are the things that are actually resonating with your students and working with them. Okay. The third is discussion participation quality. How many students are actually involved in the discussion forums that you have seen? So it doesn't mean that quantity, that okay, all my students were active there, have logged in when the discussion forum was on. At the same time, the quality indicators. How are they responding? What are the things that they are writing? How are they interacting with their peers? Are they just writing in yes, no, okay, these sort of words, or are they actually giving in their inputs? Are they thinking critically? What are the is it demonstrated there? So timeliness of the contribution. Someone has posted a question. How are the people giving answers to them? So that means it is synchronous or asynchronous. You can actually look there. So these are the key metrics to be monitored. Assessment performance trend, you get your grade sheets, you get your quiz answers, you get your peer reviews, everything you are there. So you can very easily track what are the commonly missed concepts on which people are still facing some difficulty, what are the optimal difficulty levels all across your students. So you can have, so this way you can have a very effective feedback mechanism. You can design them in your LMS also, as well as you can also have these feedback mechanisms face to face. You can talk to them directly. But identifying is very easy. There are certain ethical considerations which I said before. Be transparent with your students about what data are you collecting and how you are going to use it. Always refrain from using names. You say that it is for improvement, not for surveillance. Don't tell them that you have to log in every day because I am taking attendance of that. Okay, so you have to always remember that the data that you are getting through data analytics are saying correlation. That this you are there using this, they're getting good marks in rounds. Yes. So data shows correlation. There is no causation there. Means not because they are reading everything again and again, they're improving in their quizzes. Okay, there is just correlation. They're reading more, they're getting good marks there. That might not be the only cause of it. Okay, so you have to combine both quantitative as well as qualitative feedback for understanding your students' learning trajectory in a better way. Always consider privacy implications and institutional policies when you are dealing with your student data that you are getting from your LMS portal. So what should be your action plan? You should transform your teaching practice to leverage the LMS capabilities and e-learning into a journey, not a destination. That yes, we will start with a Moodle platform. We will put all our content there, and okay, my student can access it there. No, you have to go for iterative activities, the feedback mechanism, because this is a journey, not a destination. You have to start with manageable changes, reflect its impact, build incrementally towards sophisticated interaction of technology, pedagogy. So then you have to go on juggling with what all content you are putting in there, the different assessment mechanisms that you are putting in there. So it is something a very iterative activity. It is not just that you have to do it once and it goes away. It is same as your face-to-face teaching. You improve every semester. You improve every class. Okay. So academic planning, how will you do that? How will you prioritize your curriculum research and extension? You have to audit your current course. You have to see uh, how are you looking into your current course design against the universal design learning principles. What are the accessibility standards? What are the engagement strategies? You have to identify three high impact improvement that will be there once you implement it immediately. So you have to audit your current course. You have to use in, if you are trying to merge in with your face-to-face, like your LMS, you are merging with your face-to-face thing. So you have to first audit your current course. Then you connect with the community. You have to join your institute's teaching learning community. You have to attend LMS training sessions, which you will be doing here. All of you are here on this refresher course. You connect with faculty who are already using LMS, so you will get to know more about it. You will get first-hand information on it in your own university context, in your own institution's context. So you connect with people who are already on LMS and they are delivering their course using that. You have to set realistic goals. You have to choose 1 or 2 areas of focus for this term, for development in this term, master those, then go on adding complexities. You just cannot have a well-designed LMS from the first semester itself, because you have to, it is not your LMS only, it is you and your students' LMS. All of you are on that learning management portal together. So you have to start it, let your students log in, and then you have to go through incremental improvement. You have to set realistic goals. It won't happen overnight. You have to be very clear on that. How will you integrate it into existing curricula? You have to redesign your curriculum. You should consider that how can you redesign it so that you can integrate your learning management system that is available in your institute or university. You have to align the course objective, and then you have to use appropriate e-learning methodologies. You have to see that all the training and support is available for the faculty there. For there may be 2 or 3 people teaching the same paper, so all of you should come together, support each other, and then you can go for successful LMS implementation. There has to be a continuous feedback. The iterations has to be there, then only there will be improvements. So you have to regularly collect feedback from the students, help them migrate to the LMS, and you have to handhold them, learn from their experiences, so that more and more clarity can come there in their user experiences of learning through LMS portal and using the e-learning resources available there that you have created. There are some problems that also come, because nowadays all the university, all the institute are saying that we should have learning management systems in our curricula, but there are technical barriers. Not all of us are familiar with whatever all these new resources that are coming up, learning management systems, e-learning resources. So there are not enough technology infrastructure. Sometimes the internet connection is choppy. It is not so good. The bandwidth is not good, and also digital literacy varies across all the faculty members, among the students as well. Access to electronic devices is also limited in many of the rural places. So we have to look into all of this. There are a lot of technical barriers as well. There is also a resistance to change. Only 3 years is left for me to retire. Why should I now do it? So the faculty may exhibit resistance in integrating elements into their teaching practices. They may say that it is not that effective. What I am teaching in the class is more effective. So no, that is why I said that we have to first understand how can we integrate it to our day-to-day class. It is not over and above that we do in our class. Okay, it is like we can make our face-to-face class more effective by integrating that. So there will be resistance to change, and then we have to actually make everyone understand, help everyone understand for this to, have a very successful LMS implementation in our department or in our institution. There is a problem of data privacy and security. I have prepared a presentation, keeping it on a portal, on a social portal, on a portal which is shared by everyone. So who is going to use it? What if someone else has used it in mine? It is in my name, but someone else may take it back, and then there is a question of data privacy and security. So those things are there, and institutions should look into that, and how secure is your LMS, and how, because most of them are open source platforms. So how are you going to make your educational resources secure and copyrighted to your institute only? So these are some of the issues that are there. For professional development, there are a lot of resources for continual learning. For example, in campus teaching center, you can have conferences, workshop, and certificates in online teaching excellence. So the institutes can have a lot of conference workshop where like-minded people can come together and share their experiences on how they are teaching learning effectively. You can join EduCause, which is a higher education technology resource and research community. You can actually have rubric-based approach to course design and certification programs. You can also join online learning consortiums. There are a lot of them. In India also there are a lot of them, where local support workshops happen for you to migrate to LMS, and where you can also have design consultations with respect to your own subject area. What are the key takeaways? Your expertise in your discipline is the foundation. You know the best how to integrate LMS in your course. They are tools to amplify your teaching effectiveness and extend your reach. Okay, they are not extra burdens. So start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Because your student will benefit from every step that you take towards more thoughtful, engaging online learning experience. Nothing else. You have to start from where you are. Very simply said. Effective online teaching learning resources are intentional design. They always have active facilitation. So you have to design them. Technology serves pedagogy, not the other way around. You have to choose the tools that support your learning objectives. You are clear about that. So accessibility and inclusive design will benefit all your learners. What you have to do is your student engagement should have structure, variety, and authentic connection. And you can just handhold your students to migrate to that thing. So there should be a variety. Your content should be authentic and it should be aligned with the outcomes. You have analytics which will help you to improve all your existing e-content in a very thoughtful manner. So you can do that. What is the effectiveness of LMS? It is integrating. It signifies a transformative shift in higher education. Your student engagement enhances. It also helps us for continuous professional development. It enhances student engagement, gives us there's a transformative shift in higher education. We also foster learning community where all the faculty, all the students, all the administrators, we all come together and we have innovation that enhances educational experiences. Okay. If you look into future trends in e-learning, we have artificial intelligence, which will come up. It will take another 3 to 4 years and all of us will be into it. There'll be a lot of gamification of learning because a lot of students are always engaged in games. So we'll have to create a lot of game-like environment so that the students are motivated to learn and be immersed in learning. Virtual and augmented reality will also come up. There'll be a lot of new technologies which will give us a 4D, 5D experiences. And there are a lot of realistic simulations which will be designed in learning. So there are some things that we're looking forward to, and they'll be a part of the learning environment soon. So what we have to do is we have to, as proactive faculty members, we know that e-learning is crucial and we cannot shy away from it. So we have to embrace technology. For the collaborative future, we have to take actionable steps because we can significantly impact our students' learning and prepare them for final challenges. We have to shape their online learning experiences by utilizing LMS. We have to envision a tech-enabled academic landscape, and we have to integrate our LMS principles in this. One thing is very important. Like I have asked you that do this, do this, do this, but then why should you not do it? Because you think it is cutting edge. Like I should now use LMS after this session is done. Why? Because you think it is cutting edge. And you think it is easier. Ma'am has said that ek bar sara dal diya, so it is done, so it is easier. You should not do it because of this reason. You should also not do it because everyone is doing it. I want to be a part of that team. Everyone is doing it. I also don't want to be left behind. So because everyone is doing it, I'll also do it. And because it exempts us for being good teachers. Nowadays, whosoever is using technology is having a LMS developed, they are all termed as good teachers, and I won't be termed as good teacher because I'm not using technology. These are not the reasons because you change. You should change because your students learn at different rates. While you are there lecturing, you know that the students are not paying 100% attention and they are missing a lot of information, important information. Also, you know that the students don't do their homework diligently. And many of the times just before the exams, you spend many hours re-explaining to students who don't get it in the class. So all of this you are doing. So it's better to shift to LMS, to shift to technology, to shift to e-learning, to shift to learning management system portals. These should be the reasons which should motivate you, all of us, all the higher education faculty, to shift to LMS. Okay. So you should have some action plans for the coming academic year. I won't deliberate on that because I've already crossed my limit. It's already 2. So let us have questions with the last word that I want to share with you, that you can be a good teacher and never use technology, because technology doesn't make you a good teacher, and a technology will not turn a bad teacher into a good one. But a good teacher who uses technology well can make good things happen. That is for sure. With that, thank you so much, all of you. Coming back to you, we can have questions. I hope I completed it in time. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, MMTC Center, and all of you there. Thank you, Beena, for actually inviting me here. Dr. Beena is the course coordinator, I suppose, and all the participants. Thank you so much for such an interactive session. Every time I ask questions, many of you are responding. Thank you. Thank you so much. We can have question answer session if you have any questions.
Yes, the session is open for question answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Madam, one question is there, as you are from education and very right authority, that nowadays we are facing, though we are trying our level best to do LMS, online teaching, Google Classroom, and we are trying our students to come in a college face to face, but till there is no that much response for a face to face connection and online also. What can be the remedy, or what thing is wrong in this thing we are not getting? Can you elaborate on this?
See, what you said, what I understood from your question is that be it face to face or be it online, students are not responding.
Yes.
Isn't it? Now, why are the students not responding? Students are responding to a lot of courses which are vocational in nature, and they feel that they'll get something out of it. So we have to create employability through our courses. That is very important thing. For everything where the students feel that they will be benefited, it is for the same for us. All of us have joined this RC. Why? Because we know it is going to help us in our CAS. It will help us in having one more certificate when we go for our career advancement, isn't it? Similarly, when the students, after completing their 12th, they come for graduation, most of the students are not choosing the subject of their graduation based on their interest. They are choosing the subject of the graduation based on multiple options. One, their parents have asked them to. Second, all their friends are taking up that course. Third, there are good opportunities at the end of their course. But then in between, sometimes after joining a course, yes, in between after joining a course, they feel that there are many more certifications available, or many more things that are available which they can get if even by not answering, by not being in the class, or also they can give the final exam and pass out even without attending the class. So if you design your classes in a manner where they feel they come, they learn, and they get better marks, they get better understanding of the course material, they will never miss your class. Even we never missed the classes where we found something is there, but the rest of the classes we skipped. It was not such a big deal.
Thank you.
We have to design it. We have to. Yes.
Anybody else?
I don't think there are more
Ma'am,
questions.
how do you see the future of LMS for the next 5 years? And second thing, do you have any research about the outcome of such LMS system? Means, have
Worldwide,
you done any
LMS
research?
is worldwide. I gave you that output of the research, that LMS system along with face-to-face, not only LMS. LMS with face-to-face actually helps us in reducing the workload of teachers by 40%. Isn't I gave you those data?
Yes, that is
So,
true, ma'am.
and that is why I started with key LMS is not something you have to do over and above your teaching. Integrate it in your teaching as well only. So first year, first semester, it will be a bit tough because you are integrating it. You have to handhold your students also, show them this is how you have to go. But slowly and slowly, 2 years down the line, you will see how easy it has become, because now you are only revising it. But everything is there online. People are just taking it, notes of it. And you just go in the class, discuss with them, and it is such a nice intellectual discussion you are having with your students and coming out. So imagine after 2 years how good it will be if you start integrating it today. So in that way, look at it from that perspective. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will go for the vote of thanks session. Phrase is there in Marathi. शैले शैलेन माणिक्ये मौक्तिकं न गजे गजे साधोः नहि सर्वत्र चंदन ना वने वने. So how these things are discerned? They are not found everywhere. Likewise, we got the resource person today, that is Dr. Santwana ji Mishra ma'am, and she delighted us with her insightful knowledge in her presentation on effective learning in HI classrooms, LMS and e-learnings. She said that, reinforce that we have to integrate it in our daily teaching, not we have to just go for these systems only, so that it will lead to some more fruitful teaching rather than teaching learning, because she said that it is learning centric now. So it will lead to a better learning by the students. With that, I really thankful to Santwana Mishra ji ma'am for her 3 hours efforts towards us on the behalf of MMTTC, UGC MMTTC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. I am very thankful to you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your efforts and guidance.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. I'm leaving.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next session.
Now
Seema
you can
ma'am.
leave. Yes,
Thank
you can
you.
leave the
We'll
meeting.
meet at 2:45 p.m.
Yes, yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.